I wanna interrupt this broadcast though, because I want to see what the fuck Sean Hannity did.
All right, 800-941-SEAN is our number. You want to be a part of the program. Listen, there is a stampede, not only out of Afghanistan, but a stampede away from high prices, overpriced service from the big carriers like Verizon, AT&T, T-Mobile. The average family making the switch to Pure Talk. Now, they offer the exact same coverage using the exact same cell towers, and the average family is saving nearly $1,000 a year for the exact same service. All right, 800-941.
That's fucking you gotta admit, dude. You gotta fucking admit that's a segue right there. He did the same thing that I do when I tell you it's top of the hour every hour. It's time for a 60-second ad break, but worse. He connected it to the actual fucking coverage. That's nuts, dude. And of course, as you all know, it is top of the hour, so there is an ad break coming, and I did time that personally so I could watch the fucking Sean Hannity ad break segue and then go into my own segue because this is the meta. So an ad break is coming right now. Of course, if you want an uninterrupted ad-free broadcasting experience, all you need to do is subscribe. You can subscribe for $5 or for free with a Twitch Prime. Or you can use an ad block or a VPN, but Twitch Prime is free if you have an Amazon Prime account, which many people do. So, you can use those. But here's the 1-minute ad break now. I knew what that was going to be. Yeah, I pre-watched. So let's see what Mehdi Hasan had to say.
December 2001, when then President George W. Bush made this announcement.
For several years, the people of Afghanistan
Oh my God, this is terrible.
have suffered under one of the most brutal regimes in modern history. A regime allied with terrorists and a regime at war with women. Thanks to our...
My man was talking about women even back then, dude. Look at that. They had to invade. To protect the Afghan women.
Military, our allies, and the brave fighters of Afghanistan, the Taliban regime is coming to an end.
Tonight, 20 years later, the Taliban regime is back. After sweeping across Afghanistan's provinces in a matter of days, Taliban forces have entered the capital city of Kabul. On Saturday, the Afghan president, Ashraf Ghani, told the Afghan people in a recorded message that remobilizing the nation's security forces was his top priority. But today, Ghani fled Kabul, and the supposedly 300,000 strong US-funded Afghan military has all but vanished. Afghans in Kabul are making a run on the nation's banks, and many more are contemplating their fate as the Taliban consolidates its rule. You are looking at video obtained today by Al Jazeera of Taliban fighters milling about in the presidential palace in Kabul. NBC News has verified the authenticity of this video. Tonight, we're dedicating the entire show to the imminent and catastrophic end to America's longest war. I've been deeply depressed this weekend watching the scenes out of Afghanistan, and I've been thinking about the big lie. When we talk about that idea these days, a gross propagandistic distortion of the truth, we rightly apply it to Donald Trump's unhinged efforts to convince the world that he won an election that he lost soundly and fairly. But there have been other big lies in America's recent history. For 20 years, presidents of both parties told us again and again that we were winning in Afghanistan, that all the money we poured into the Afghan military was worth it, that the 2,300 US troops killed there since 2001 hadn't died in vain. George W. Bush said it. Barack Obama said it. Donald Trump said it. Joe Biden said it just in April.
We have trained and equipped a standing force of over 300,000 Afghan personnel today, and hundreds of thousands over the past 2 decades. And they'll continue to fight valiantly on behalf of the Afghans.
No, they won't. And they did not.
At great cost.
Or rather, they will fight on behalf of the Afghans, just under a different banner, under a white flag, the Taliban's flag.
Yet here we are. Because no one wanted to tell the simple truth that American ingenuity and dollars and weaponry cannot remake the world in our image. Our leaders knew that. The Washington Post's 2019 investigation into the Afghanistan Papers, a trove of classified interviews with US and Afghan officials, showed that those officials knew victory was an illusion, but they told the American public otherwise. They lied to us. That flawed idea of American greatness also led to magical thinking in the current administration about how this would all end. Here was President Biden again, just last month.
The Taliban is not the North Vietnamese army. They're not remotely comparable in terms of capability. There's going to be no circumstance where you see people being lifted off the roof.
That was wrong too.
Of a embassy of the United States from Afghanistan. It is not at all comparable.
How wrong was he?
Oh, they're showing the fucking...
As the sounds of gunfire echo through Kabul, you can also see a U.S. Army Chinook helicopter moving over the city, one of several American helicopters spotted evacuating personnel from the U.S. Embassy there. A State Department official tells NBC News almost all embassy personnel have now relocated from the embassy to a facility on the Hamid Karzai International Airport. Officials today said the U.S. is putting 1,000 more American troops into Kabul to aid in the mass evacuations of U.S. personnel. Now, I'm the last person to criticize Joe Biden's decision to go through with this withdrawal from Afghanistan. I support it. But in its botched execution and wishful thinking, in its failure to anticipate the speed of the Taliban's advance against demoralized Afghan soldiers working for a weak government, made even weaker by corruption, the Biden administration failed to prepare for the humanitarian crisis that is unfolding now. For months, the administration has struggled just to evacuate 2,000 interpreters and family members who aided the U.S. coalition in Afghanistan. But as many as 100,000 of them have sought asylum. And as the Taliban noose tightens around Kabul, the number is growing. Yet the big lie of America's unstoppable greatness, our military power, persists. You can hear it tonight in the voices of armchair experts who argue that this war was winnable with just a little bit more time. Or even that this defeat would have been handled better by Donald Trump. Yeah, the self-absorbed wrecking ball who invited the Taliban to Camp David for negotiations before a 9/11 anniversary 2 years ago. Remember that? Then cancelled the meeting after a backlash. That idea of American greatness has led us to fail the test of American goodness. Let's be clear. We killed a lot of innocent people in Afghanistan over 2 decades, and now even more innocent people are being killed as we leave. Later on the show, we'll talk to political, military, and diplomatic experts about how this all happened. We'll discuss the latest developments in Afghanistan and in Washington, D.C. But for now, what about the plight of those Afghans, especially women, who are now preparing for life again under Taliban rule? What will come next for them? What do they have to tell us?
The Afghanistan Papers? I don't know. Dude, I would watch the fuck out of this. I'm a little concerned with, like, TOS, though. You know, aside from what I'm literally looking at, which actually leads me to my other thing that I was going to show you guys. 9/11. Shouldn't let that hang there. Here's how 9/11 is being taught to Zoomers on the Guardian TikTok account. I mean, look at this, dude. Literally, look at this image. I want you to look at this. I want you to stare at this image. Do not look away from this image. Can you imagine 20 years ago we would be looking at an image like this? Like post 9/11? Obviously not 20 years ago, like 19 years ago. 15 years ago. It's just like there is nothing. I'm sorry, this is like
as Western
we are living in like the dystopian future that we thought we were going to get to eventually. Okay. Let's see what the Guardian is doing.
Troops started leaving once and for all, the Taliban started taking over territories, and reports of war crimes and massacres followed them. By the start of August, major cities neighbouring the capital of Kabul were starting to fall, and by Sunday, Kabul was the only city left. The Afghan president decided it would be pointlessly violent to fight and instead secretly fled, probably to Uzbekistan. Without really much resistance, the Taliban entered the city, took over the palace, and declared themselves the new government. Now those who helped coalition troops are terrified of violent reprisals, and many, particularly women, fear the Taliban will reinstate their repressive fundamentalist rule. 20 years of war, more than 172,000 people killed, $1 trillion spent, and it all came undone in a matter of days.
9/11 happened in the repressive rule of the fucking Taliban. Dude, this is like, gotta trick the Zoomers into learning something. I agree. I can't believe Nicole Wall said that. All right, let's see what Dave Rubin has to say about this.
War in Afghanistan for almost 2 decades. It's the longest war in American history. I mean, really think about that, because nobody even realizes we're at war there.
But really think about that.
The Afghanistan war, Google it, don't take my word for it. It is now the longest war in American history. Now, why are we there? I know the Taliban and 9/11 and okay, all that stuff. We can talk about all that. We're disrupting networks. We're getting them there so they don't get us here. Blah, 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 blah. There's no reason to be there anymore. Absolutely no reason to be there anymore. You know what would cause more troops to die? Staying in a place that we're not even sure why we're there anymore, right? Every day that you stay there, you increase the risk that somebody is going to die.
Yes, people did fucking fall off the plane tires. They were hiding in the plane tires. That's how desperate some people were to get the fuck out of Kabul. Stop sending me the link, dude. I can't show you. People literally fucking jumping out of planes, man, or falling out of planes. What the fuck? I already showed you 9/11. That's enough, okay?
Die. If you say we are now leaving, well then less people are going to die. Less troops are going to die. But the point is, we don't even know why we're in Afghanistan anymore. There's just no reason to be there, and we got to get out. So now we're being told by Democrats that we have to stay in Afghanistan longer. It just doesn't make any sense. And
Wait. Wait, I'm confused. Is he pro? What? What just happened? It's an old video. What is he saying now? Liberals are eating this shit up right now.
So Trump meets with the Taliban, who are our enemies, who did terrorist attacks on us, and they're pretty bad dudes, and we knew about it. He meets with them, and he basically says that we're going to withdraw our troops so that they can take over Afghanistan, and we'll free their leader, and they don't really have to do anything. That we're just going to give them this on a silver platter. Just, try not to terrorist attack.
Give who what? What is she saying? Give who? Give Afghanistan to the Taliban who are from Afghanistan? What the fuck? And we are giving Afghanistan? We Americans are giving Afghanistan to...
attack us again. That'd be great. So now Biden's in office, and he's having to do what Trump said that America was going to do, because they signed an agreement, and technically the Taliban hasn't done anything to null and void that agreement. We allow the president to escape with all of his accoutrements and fancy cars and luxury items and everything else. Meanwhile, his people are there risking death, risking, their daughters being sold off and everything else. He hasn't paid the military in months. He's just been hoarding their salaries. So when the Taliban come, the Afghanistan army just lay down their arms so that they can survive. Because what are they even fighting for? The president's gone, and the whole country...
Wait, the president left after. The president literally did not leave before the... What? Dude, this is every part of this is incorrect.
Is going to crumble. All these people are trying to escape. They're falling to their deaths because we just don't have a way to evacuate the whole country. And the Taliban decide...
So was it, this is for Alabama Rush, dude? Yo, these Alabama Rush videos are getting crazy, dude. Oh, no. The Taliban are taking over Kabul and saying that they're doing it in a peaceful way, but ultimately the president leave Kabul and left all of these people behind. Alabama Rush. I was right. I was right.
Decide that they're going to protect the Russian embassy, which is telling in its own right. Because Trump has been a Russian puppet from day one.
What? Oh, this went to so many different directions. Oh, God, this is so good. Oh, this is fucking awesome, dude. What? Dude, this is like... Oh, Trump is a Russian puppet. That's why we're leaving Taliban.
In its own right. Because Trump has been a Russian puppet from day one. He has bent over backwards to please Putin in all ways but carnal. I'm not 100% sure.
In all ways but carnal? Like he didn't fuck Putin? She's right. This is what happens when you get day drunk on wine watching MSNBC, okay?
That was off the table.
She's not sure. They might have been gay for each other. Fellas, Trump is gay for Putin. That's right.
I'm not 100% sure that was off the table. And who are the Republicans blaming for all of it? Well, Biden, of course, because they can never take responsibility for their own actions. They can never take responsibility for the fact that they cheered on Trump when he said he was going to pull the troops out of Afghanistan.
I love when liberals are like, we must engage in blood and soil and permanent occupation to secure an existence for, Afghan children, I guess. Like, well, what is this fucking rhetoric, dude? I'm a liberal, by the way. I wish liberals were like anti-imperialists. There was a point in time when like liberals were anti-imperialists and then their brains just broke after 9/11, dude. Like, what the fuck happened?
Afghanistan. They thought it was a great idea that he was making deals with the Taliban. They thought it was a great idea that he was backing Russia when Russia had hits out on American soldiers.
Literally not even a fucking real story, by the way. That was another... Okay, this is all MSNBC shit.
They just think...
Like the Russian hits, the Russian bounty story was like falsified. The fuck? And even if it was real, like, what do you mean? We're doing fucking... We're engaging in active conflict. Like, we're fighting with them in a proxy war.
Everything Daddy Trump does is amazing. I'm kind of sick of us being the nice guy. Because our nice guy behavior on the left is costing people their lives.
On the left?
And it has been.
Bro, this person definitely watched me at some point, too. If not still to this day. Some of you watch me and then, like, get this. Because, like, if she actually says she's a democratic socialist, like, even on accident, this person has probably watched me at a certain point. Someone said she's 100% right. Fuck you, okay? We need to build the U.S. Army even more.
For too long. It's really time we have some fucking teeth.
Bro, that is the antithetical position to leftist ideas, okay? That is it. You cannot be a fucking leftist and fearmonger for more war, okay? That's not leftist. That's the opposite. Don't be crazy now. Okay, so I wanted to... Listen. Since we're on the topic of white women, I wanted to hear from more white women. Okay, because, like, honestly, we haven't heard enough about what ladies are saying about Afghanistan. So let's take a look. What did Pork Chop Express say? Bernie Gore's executed in Kabul by Taliban soldiers. We're working with the U.S. officials to get more journalists out of Afghanistan. What the fuck? Oh, here we fucking go, dude. Bernie Gore's was executed in Kabul by Taliban soldiers. Wait, is this right? No, this isn't. Why did you link this to me? Where is the person who linked it? Mods, find the person who linked it and ban him. This is not real, dude. It's literally not fucking real. It's a dumbass 4chan shit. CNN Afghanistan. Ban him. Loco Cubano. Real funny, dude. That's real fucking funny. Okay. Back to... The Taliban are the only people building back better? Shut the fuck up. Are you serious? What a fucking take, dude. It's like some fucking streamer, Wings of Redemption or some shit. And it's like a fucking fake fake meme. You see the Taliban trying to get swollen in the presidential palace yet? Shut the fuck up. Oh my god. Dude, there's so much content. The Taliban are fucking... They're content demons, bro.
Da Kandar airport
Motherfuckers got slides on. Look, this guy. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Got the busted ass goddamn Adidas, dude. The Adidas. High top.
headquarter.
This dude is a fucking RPG.
Stop!
Dude, this is actually a really interesting fucking picture to show you. It literally goes to show you that, like, no matter how fucking fundamentalist you are, no matter how fucking psychotic you might be, like, these are kids, bro. They're literally fucking kids. It's so sad. Like, look at this shit.
Da Kandar airport
You're laughing. The Taliban is getting stronger and stronger, and you're laughing. Many joined due to the call to fight off the USA. Yeah, I mean... Yeah, they're on that fucking... They're on that rising grind, dude. They're getting fucking swole, dude. It's the Sigma way. Guess what? You know what I also realized? You know what I also just noticed? They don't have to wear a mask at their gym. How come I have to wear a mask at mine? That's right. I'm moving to Kabul, baby. That's real freedom, brother. None of them are wearing masks at the goddamn gym. If the Taliban can make time for the gym, what's your excuse? That's the Taliban grind set. Yeah, They're even allowed to bring guns to the goddamn gym. Look at the tweet comments. Just wait till they find the Joe Rogan Experience. It's over, bro. The entirety of the Taliban is on DMT after that. What is this? Elements, they practice sports in gym hall at the presidential palace. They're putting the fun in fundamentalism. Yeah, I saw the theme park thing that I saw the theme park photo. Yeah, this is another one. Okay, this is iconic for some reason. Jesus Christ. Wait, did I just click off the fucking... Oh, here it is. Noticing they don't have to wear... Is this fucked up? Should I... Is this fucked up if I say noticing they don't have to wear masks at the gym? Who's really living in a free country? Yeah, I'm doing it. I did it. What? This is so... Hi, HasanAbi, biggest fan, just Mo. What's he doing on his phone? Oh, he's just nothing. Just commenting on... AOC reads her tweets. Good. Now she'll fucking advocate for no mask wearing at gyms and vaccine passports. You're gonna get your stupid wish when Newsom gets recalled, you moron. That's right, Larry Elder, brother. You live life on easy mode? Thanks, man. We're gonna hear from the real victims of Taliban in a second. And I mean the white women, okay? But before I do that, I have to fucking pee, dude. Holy shit. I have to pee again so bad. This is the show I was supposed to be on, by the way.
Of Afghanistan.
But I was not able to be on.
Following the Taliban's takeover of Afghanistan. It's
because I am not a Taliban expert.
The end of a 20-year presence of U.S. troops. But who is the Taliban and what do they want exactly? We know the Taliban was formed in the 1990s, driving out Soviet forces in the country, and declared Afghanistan an Islamic state in 1996 after seizing Kabul. And now they are on the verge of total control of the capital again. With me now is Anand Gopal, the other Anand G, author of the book No Good Men Among the Living, America, the Taliban, and the War Through Afghan Eyes. Anand, you have written that this government may not even last 3 months. You said that the U.S. designed the Afghan state to meet Washington's counterterrorism interests, not the interests of Afghans. And what we see today is the result. Explain.
Well, when the U.S. invaded in 2001, they didn't try to set up an inclusive democratic state with responsible institutions staffed by technocrats. Instead, what happened is that the U.S. brought in warlords who had been living outside the country and more or less installed them as the de facto rulers across the countryside. So the state that the U.S. created was predominantly made up of gunmen, private security contractors, drug lords, death squads. The U.S. also created a...
Oh, look at that. Some interesting vehicles that the Taliban are using. I wonder how they... Wonder how they acquired that.
That was largely privatized. Most of the basic functions of the state were outsourced to private actors. And so Afghans who really were hopeful for the US invasion and really hopeful for some sort of democracy, instead were confronted with a corrupt, kleptocratic, and really repressive state. And so every day they were facing night raids, airstrikes, disappearances. And in this way, they began to turn, especially in the countryside, began to turn against the Afghan government and the American backers.
You've gone deep on this question of who the Taliban is, what they want. And there's this question that's been threading throughout this broadcast of whether there has been any change. You and I have both changed in the last 20 years. Most people have changed in the last 20 years. Has there been learning and growing from the 20 years out of power? Should we understand that?
Yeah, they're fucking progressive now. They're letting women educate themselves. Of course, only in the Quran, but still.
Taliban in 2021 to be who they were in 2001 with regard to women, with regard to relationships to terror groups. Are they different? Is there evidence that they're different?
Well, Anand, I've spent a lot of time with the Taliban, interviewing them in the countryside, and in some ways they're different, and in some ways they're the same, right? So the original iteration of the Taliban in the 90s were mostly religious students. The current iteration of the Taliban are quite different. Many of them are just people from all walks of life, farmers, shopkeepers, etc. And almost every single person you meet in the Taliban has lost loved ones to drone attacks or to other sorts of crimes and joined the Taliban not out of some kind of religious fervor, but because of revenge. They wanted revenge against the US. They wanted revenge against the Afghan government. So that means that their worldview is a lot more diverse than it was maybe 20, 25 years ago. In many ways, they're a lot more open to many things. However, they're still a product of the Afghan countryside where traditional mores are still very important, where even in government-controlled areas, you will not see women.
We unified the country in the wrong way? Oh, yeah.
Walking outside of the house. So they're very much a product of that. So unfortunately, from the perspective of women, I don't think they've changed very much at all.
We've been hearing two different kind of narratives tonight, both of which sound quite plausible, which is one that this is going to be very, very scary for women and girls in particular because of the views you were just describing and the American presence there, the American military adventure there, however it might have failed, was hopeful for women and provided a break from the repression of 96 to 2001. But we're also hearing what you said at the beginning of this segment about how America botched this from the start, sided with warlords and people of that nature. So as America departs, how do you think about the next decade or 2 decades in the country's life? Which of these forces do you think will dominate the kind of next 20-year period?
Well, look, Afghanistan, like any country on earth, is a very diverse country. It has its conservatives, it has its liberals, it has people in the city that have one type of lifestyle, it has people in the countryside that have a very different type of lifestyle. And so in the countryside, life for women hasn't really improved under the American presence, but life in the cities, it has improved. I think what we'll probably see is some kind of a reversal of that trend. What I mean is, like, in the countryside, people are being bombed and suffering all sorts of calamities.
Yeah, so there's no shot that, like, the villagers are going to be worse off than when the American occupation was continuing. But also, there's no shot that the people's lives are going to be just as good under the American occupation if they were living in Kabul.
So life is actually better when there's no war. So I've interviewed a lot of women from the countryside who actually want the war to end and wanted the Americans to leave simply because they didn't want to be bombed. At the same time, life in cities like Kabul, unfortunately, I think are not going to be good.
I'm not sure how many folks on TV today have actually interviewed members of the Taliban, so I'm very happy we have Anand Gopal, the other Anand G, on tonight. Thank you so much for joining us.
By the way, I had Mike on, but tomorrow I plan on having some Afghan people on as well, for the record. I know that people are saying, like, if you want to get back to White Women Tears reply, I'm begging people to stop treating American veterans as experts on the Taliban Afghan history. But yes, I will also be having some Afghan people on as well. The Taliban doing PR on MSNBC. Oh, I love that. Love to see it, folks. But let's get back to the white women. I really want to hear from the actual victims. Sorry, not sorry. Not going to care about Afghanistan because I grew up with an alcoholic, psychologically abusive father in constant state of distress and anxiety and worry about the future. Hearing the key in the door every evening was my own Afghanistan for almost 20 years. Sorry, not sorry. Not going to care about Afghanistan because I... Wait, what? Oh, it's just a fucking meme, the second part. Wait, is there more? Tell me there's more. I need to see more. There was some crypto ones that were really fucking good. We're going to show you those too. Imagine trying to flee Afghanistan and all you have are heavy gold bars. You either climb without the bars or get left behind, and most likely you won't get past the metal detectors. Hashtag Bitcoin fixes this. At Dan Held, at Raul GMI, at Peter Schiff. There's another really good crypto take too. Stop. There's another crypto bro that had a really good one. The gender critical take on the oppression of Afghan women is in. What's happening in Afghanistan is a tragedy. The Afghan people have been shamefully abandoned, and the implications for women and girls especially are horrifying. There are no easy answers. The world can't just turn away and leave them to their fate. Perhaps show some concern for what you're doing to women and girls here in Scotland. They are, after all, part of your remit. You refer to women and girls as separate from men. But in Scotland, you've led a government who changed the meaning of the word woman to include men. These are transphobic feminists, TERFs. There was another crypto bro. Oh, here. The shameful withdrawal from Afghanistan is a watershed moment. This is the beginning of the end of the USD. You must now own Bitcoin. If Afghanistan's infrastructure was built on Ethereum, there would be very little for the Taliban to seize as they roll back into town. The banks would still work. Decisions could still be made via DAOs that involve the outside world. It wouldn't stop working for even a second. People in Afghanistan try to withdraw their money from banks, but the top bankers have all left town. Likely no Afghans will get any of their hard-earned money back. This should show you how important Bitcoin is for the world. Control your own money. Like, for example, if the entire nation's currency was on Bitcoin rather than fiat currency, yuck, they could feel this exact same experience when, I don't know, Bitcoin fucking tanks for a day. You too, all around the world, could feel like the Afghan people right here when Bitcoin crashes. You can take this to the bank. Without the US dollar, there never would have been an occupation of Afghanistan. That's why we hashtag Bitcoin. Oh, this was a really good one too. With what's going on in Afghanistan, today was the first day of my life when I felt like joining the army. Isn't this an Oibrov too? It's like the first fucking day. The first day where like I no longer have to deploy into Afghanistan. I want to join the army. I mean, he still can. I saw Jack retweet this. Wait, what do you mean? Oh, you mean Wagner. You too can be a part of a historical failure and global embarrassment. Make your dreams come true. He wants to join because he won't have to go to Afghanistan. It's great, dude. This guy will single-handedly rescue Afghanistan. Drop me in Afghanistan in a Hellcat with a Michael Jordan jersey, 2 racks of ribs, a 24 box of Bud Lights, and a copy of Eternal Atake, and I'll make them the 51st state by lunchtime tomorrow.
Hey, couple racks, hey, couple Grammys on him, couple packs, hey, that's a fact.
Oh, I saw this one. This one was pretty funny. Malala, the girl who received a Nobel... We talked about this yesterday. Malala, the girl who received the Nobel Peace Prize for standing against the Taliban, is the same girl who was silent about the cries of women and children suffering at the hands of the Taliban. Performative activism will always get exposed. You know. Performative activism, like being shot in the fucking eye for going to school. I love it, dude. On the one hand, can't be real. On the other hand, white lady in the picture, I don't know if she's like full white. I think she might be one of my kind, you know? Her name is Mariam Haidar, but Malala got shot for Instagram likes. Okay.
The Security Council is calling for talks on forming a new government for Afghanistan and an end to the fighting and human rights abuses there. This comes after the council held a meeting this morning at which...
My man literally fucking signed on to MSNBC. What are the Taliban doing now? What are they saying now? Let's see.
Afghanistan's ambassador to the United Nations accused the Taliban of not honoring its promises and commitments and talked about the dire situation in his homeland.
We have seen gruesome images of Taliban's mass executions of military personnel and target killings of civilians in Kandahar and other big cities. Kabul residents are reporting.
Bro, they are so fucking... I don't know if did they hire the same PR team that Mohammed bin Salman did or something? They're literally doing like actual PR. Like they're doing a lot of PR. They're doing the charm offensive, boys.
The Taliban have already started house-to-house searches in some neighborhoods, registering names and looking for people in their target list. There are already reports of target killings and looting in the city. Kabul residents are living in absolute fear right now.
All right, joining us now is Suhail Shaheen, an English spokesperson for the Taliban. He is part of their delegation in Qatar and was involved in negotiations with the United States. Mr. Shaheen, the Afghan ambassador says the Taliban is carrying out mass executions of military personnel and targeted killings of civilians in Kandahar and Kabul. Our reporter in Kabul also says that he is hearing similar reports.
What the fuck? Taliban on TV? Are you kidding me? What do you mean? Of course they're on TV.
What is your response to these allegations that your forces are committing these atrocities?
These allegations are totally baseless, totally wrong. They are the propaganda spread by our opponents in order to mislead the opinion of the world against us. Of course, there was when their forces and policemen evacuated their outpost, their police station, and they fled. There was, for a few hours, vacuum, and our forces were at that time at the gate of the Kabul city. When we received the reports of plundering and damaging to people.
This is literally not incorrect, though. Like, they went up to Kabul. They said that they were not going to enter Kabul, that everything was fine, and only said that they were entering Kabul because the security forces there just like completely fucking left it. And they said that they were entering because people were looting and rioting and
public
shit.
properties. Then we entered the cities. Now the security is maintained, and our more forces from our side will enter in order to provide security to all parts of the city.
Okay, you say that your forces are providing security, and we were getting calls. We have been hearing messages from people who are saying that the Taliban and their fighters have gone house to house looking for people who worked alongside the Americans who worked.
And you're believing what they're saying? Up until, yeah, what do you mean I'm believing what they're saying? Like, bro, they literally did not fucking murder people until now. I think you guys do not understand what's going on. Like, I don't think you guys understand what's going on. This is literally the new Afghan government. Like, you are currently talking to the new Afghan government. Like, this is it. This is no different than like talking to the Speaker of the House or talking to like the Pakistani government. Okay. They're the captain now. Will they do a lot of murder? 100%. Okay. They won though. Like, this is their country. This is literally now the Afghan country, the leadership. I don't know why people are just like, whoa, what the fuck? Like, I don't understand it. The Taliban is bad though. Like, don't get me wrong. I do think that they're fucking lying when they say they're going to let women do whatever the fuck, because they certainly are not. But you are currently talking, I'm stealing this from chat. You're talking to the Jen Psaki of Afghanistan, okay? You are literally, this is Jen Psaki for the Taliban, okay? It's true.
Worked as translators, and in some cases, taking young women and children as brides for their fighters. Are you denying those allegations?
Yes, I totally deny. If someone go from door to door and they are posing as Taliban, they are not Taliban. They may be from the former NDS or some spillers and posing in order to create a bad name for us, to malign us, but they are not Taliban because we have...
They're only going to be in power till elections? Why are you so worried? Yeah, right, dude. Elections, okay.
A clear policy. The policy is that no one can...
People are confused by your attitude towards certain parts on this issue because people are unaware that this is how it works. You are experiencing history happen in front of your eyes, which is precisely why it seems kind of strange. You're like, what the fuck? But this is how it works when you fucking win the war of attrition over the course of 20 fucking years and you continuously push back against an occupying force. And then that occupying colonizer basically says, here you go. We're going to do a backdoor deal with you and give you the entire country. Then that country is now yours. And if you already have the infrastructure to be able to rule that country, like the Taliban already did, because they did literally rule the country before, then they are the captain now. So I'm not like, yeah, that person was joking about elections, obviously. But that's it. Like, that's it. It doesn't matter that they were terrorists and they are still terrorists or whatever the fuck. It literally does not matter. Now they are politicians, okay? This is how it works. This is just how it works. Like, it's like the British royalists and the monarchy looking to George Washington as a terrorist who then became a leader, okay, of a nation. Not saying that they're like morally equivalent or anything like that. I know that that's going to trigger a lot of fucking people, but that's how it works. You fucking win the war and then you become the politician. You put the guns down and then you become a politician. That's how history works. The problem is you're experiencing it happening to you in front of your eyes. So you're like, what the fuck? That makes no sense. That's just how it works. Which is why you're like, this makes no sense. I don't understand. These guys are like literally the fucking This is a terrorist talking right now. Yeah.
Enter anyone's house, property, honor, and life of the people are protected. That we have issued statement after statements. That is clear. But we know there are spiders, and they are being in order to provide opportunity for.
What do you mean? Spiders are holy in Islam. What the fuck's he saying?
Others to spread maligning us and also giving us a bad name, accusing us. That is their game from for the last 20 years.
Okay, but if you are in Doha and you are negotiating about a peaceful resolution for Afghanistan, why did the Taliban sweep across Afghanistan from city to city, going from town to town and taking control while you were also engaged in negotiations with the Americans? Why would you do that?
We were engaged in negotiation here with the other side team.
But you participated in the negotiations.
Yes, we.
Yes, spiders are holy in Islam because the Prophet Muhammad was protected when they were searching for him by hiding in a cave, and then spiders fucking built a web outside the cave. So the people that were searching for him were like, okay, there's a spider web here, so obviously he's not hiding in this cave. Otherwise, spiders would not have fucking built webs here if there was someone living there. Isn't that the reason why spiders are considered not true, says Tamit Farhan Magno? Did I just make this up? Where did I make this up from? That's a weak hadith. The spiders aren't holy regardless. Tamith is right. One spider did it, one chill spider. Otherwise, they can fuck off. There's a lot of arachnophobia that I'm hearing from. You're right. You can visit this cave in Mecca. The story is true, but spiders aren't holy. Hayır abi doğru. Ben de böyle biliyorum amına koyayım. You are thinking of Tobey Maguire? Yeah, in Spider-Man. Okay, dude, if spiders aren't holy, explain this. Okay? Explain this, liberals. Yeah, that's right. Exactly. So shut the fuck up. That's what I thought. Everyone's real quiet in the chat since I showed you the fucking truth about spiders. It doesn't even end there, dude. Yeah. Müslüman Spider-Man. Spider-Man, far from Jahannam, or Spider-Imam. That's right. Some of you need desperately the good kind of madrasa education. Okay? If you went, you would learn. MashaAllah. Exactly, dude. Thank you. Spider-Imam. You liberals have no answer for this. All right, let's keep going.
Participated in a negotiation.
So were they not good faith negotiations?
Yeah. It was in good faith, but it was their responsibility of their security forces that they were leaving their outposts, coming to us and saying, we do not have trust in this administration and we do not want to stop this fighting. We are not anymore with this administration. They were handing their weapons and they were joining our ranks. So it was their responsibility to have control over them. So we, for long said, this administration, the people and their soldiers do not trust their corrupt administration. So we had a negotiation here, but here they also said, we have 20 years gains. It is a red line for us. They said, Republic is a red line for us. The Constitution is a red line for us. While here in Doha, it was reconciliation to put everything from our side on their side on the table, then negotiate and reach a solution and form a government acceptable to all.
Okay, I'll get to how you're going to govern in just a moment, but did the Taliban...
This motherfucker's yelling a lot, dude. Like, for talking to literally a Taliban member, he sure seems confident. Like, kind of wild that he's just like, maybe because he's like all the way out in wherever the fuck he is he in Qatar? Is that what they were saying?
Make any assurances? Did they give the Americans any guarantees that they would be allowed, that the Americans would be allowed to leave Kabul without any attacks or threats against the American military or American personnel that they are trying to evacuate?
Yes.
You gave them that guarantee?
Yes, there will be, we have commitment that there will be no attack on the Americans evacuating Afghanistan. Not only now, it was for the last 14 months, which is mentioned in the agreement, and we didn't attack them. A single soldier, American soldier, was killed during that time. While before that, there was a lot of casualties.
Right. Will you go after and punish those that worked with the Americans while they were there if they don't leave the country?
We want them not to leave the country, to lead their normal life. Our country needs them.
But will you punish those who worked with the Americans?
We have commitment.
Bro, they're not doing a good job with the PR. I'm going to be honest with you. They're trying, but they're not used to it, and they're not doing a good job.
While they were there, if they don't leave the country.
We want them not to leave the country, to lead their normal life. Our country needs them.
But will you punish those who worked with the Americans?
We have commitment.
Will you punish those that worked with the Americans?
We will not punish them, and we will not pose any risk to them, to their property, and to their life. It is our policy. We have issued the official statement in this regard.
This is true, though. I mean, I don't know if they'll fucking follow through on this, but this is something that they've been saying from the jump, is that they are not going to punish anyone. I think it's a cap, but we'll see.
Okay, and you've probably seen the images. You've probably seen the images of thousands of Afghans who are trying to leave Afghanistan. If they want to leave Afghanistan under the Taliban's control, will you keep the borders open and allow people in Afghanistan to leave freely without any threats?
They have. For the record, the reason why people are fucking rushing to the airport like this is literally because the civilian part of the Kabul airport is controlled by the Taliban now, and they're not fucking stopping them from trying to run away. It's the American military that has now overtaken the military side of the Kabul airport that is stopping people from actually fucking getting on the planes and shit.
We had left the people but it was the game of the Kabul administration intelligence, forward Kabul administration.
Like, dude, this is insane, by the way. I don't know what the fuck they were thinking. Like, I mean, you gotta be like, I remember, I mean, it's wild that they're so desperate that they fucking were like holding on to a fucking airplane thinking that they're gonna be able to like thinking they're gonna be able to get away. Yeah, I know they thought that they would be able to fucking cling on to the airplane. Some people were like hiding in the tires and shit, and they fell off.
Administration intelligence, because they spread the rumors that there are planes standing, awaiting at the airport. Anyone who wants to go to the West, to the European countries, they are welcomed. And there is no need for any kind of document, any visa or passport.
I mean, it's a little hard for people to believe the Taliban. The interviewer try his damnedest to trigger any Muslim reaction for content. I mean, look, the thing is, like, they're doing PR. They're like actually doing PR, and they're following through thus far on the original agreement. And why shouldn't they? It's in their, see, this is what I've been trying to stress to you guys. It's literally in their best interest to follow through on a fucking deal that they struck with the American government. Like, it is literally against their interest to start fucking murking people, at least right now. That doesn't mean that that's never going to happen. But, like, that's why I was laughing when people were like, they're opening up the prisons so that, like, all the prisoners can go to Turkey. It's like, motherfucker, they're Taliban members. Why the fuck would they leave Talibanistan all of a sudden when Afghanistan turns into fucking Taliban territory in its entirety? Why would they leave? This is like, that's literally what they're excited for. They're like, oh, fuck yeah, dude. It's in their best interest to not fuck this deal up because they now have everything they wanted. Now, of course, yeah, they're like 5 seconds away from getting control of the entire country. Why the fuck would they ruin that by shooting? Exactly, which is why they're doing it. Not because they're like genuinely interested in like fucking, I don't know, following through on the welfare of all Afghan citizens. They will just call it the Afghani Taliban Republic or something, not Talibanistan. I was just fucking, I'm kidding. I'm just saying, like, oh, the Kabul airport has officially restarted the evacuation flights according to the Pentagon. Like, it just doesn't make sense, okay? It does not make sense for them to turn around and do this for literally no reason. Like, unless you think people are just like animals and purely motivated by, like, I don't know, murder. Even animals don't like murder for no fucking reason, though. They murder because they're hungry or some shit. Like, they're literally acting out of self-interest here by not doing any additional murders. Except for cats. Cats do it for pleasure because they're psychos, but you know what I mean.
airport, but they should
hold on,
reach the airport and embark the aeroplanes.
Okay, I want to
So
ask.
that is why thousands of people.
Sorry, let me ask you. Yeah, let me ask you about how the Taliban. Let me ask you.
Someone killed during launching,
Okay.
jostling.
Let me ask you about how the Taliban is going to govern. You now control Afghanistan. Is the Taliban going to roll?
Like, it's not like ISIS. Remember how ISIS went to Raqqa and Mosul? Fucking brutal. Yeah, well, this is different because ISIS wasn't striking a fucking negotiation that was like, ISIS wasn't striking a negotiation with the United States of America over maintaining full 100% control over the fucking region. That's entirely different. Okay, and I'm hiding the video because I thought that there was TOS.
After hearing now the situation.
Hold on one second, sir, and I apologize. We may be having a little bit of a technical delay. I just wanted to ask you, now that the Taliban is in control, will you control unilaterally without any elections?
You actually supporting the Taliban? No, dumbass.
Will you allow elections to happen in Afghanistan? Will you allow women to participate in politics?
Oh, strategic cutting of.
Okay, it seems that we may have lost our connection there with Sohail Shaheen.
Seems like you are sympathizing. Sure sounds that way. Okay, then yeah, if that's what you want to think, then go ahead, dude. I don't know what to tell you. Like, I literally have time and time again reiterated that I am not sympathetic to like a fucking fundamentalist group of psychopathic warlords, okay? But if that's what you literally think, then I can't stop you from thinking that, okay? The only thing I can do is serve you a 60-second ad break at the top of the fucking hour. And then follow that up by telling you that you can avoid said ad breaks. If you want an uninterrupted, ad-free broadcasting experience, all you need to do is subscribe, okay? And you can subscribe for $5 or for free with a Twitch Prime. Twitch Prime is free, okay? It is what it is. It's the truth. Or you can use an ad block or VPN, but Twitch Prime is the free and efficient way of doing this. Here's the 1-minute ad break now. Sorry for not calling Afghans murder-hungry savages. I mean, sympathizing with them and understanding why someone wouldn't like an invading force that kills your whole family are two different things. It's not even just that. Like, it's not even just that. What I'm trying to simply state is, like, they're not fucking, they are psycho fucking bloodthirsty warlords for the most part, certainly. But that doesn't mean that they're so dumb that they're going to literally fuck up their own goals. Something that they've been motivated by for a very long time. Like, it's just idiotic. Do you want me to lie to you and be like, yeah, no, actually they are fucking murdering people and they are literally doing all the things even though it's against their best interest not to for the time being? Yeah. Kind of a fucking big deal for them to, you know, regain control in its entirety over Afghanistan. They're not so stupid that they're going to fucking, you know, ruin that. That's also why they're doing this fucking PR campaign, as you can see. All right? That's where this is coming from. There's no way they have control of all the Taliban idiots in the city. Just say, look, I shaved my beard because I hate the Taliban. So is this a lie? What is this? All the girls over the age of 15 and widows younger than 40 should be married to the insurgent fighters, a local Taliban leader told the congregation of Friday prayers. One of those present was later summoned and ordered to hand over his 15-year-old daughter. No, I don't think that's a lie at all. But the point is that literally was happening before. Like, in those areas, okay, this is not a good thing. Okay, obviously it's a clearly bad thing. But what you have to also remember is that, like, the American military presence literally did not change. This is not Kabul. You're talking about forced marriages in Afghanistan in, like, literally people living in fucking tents and shit, dude. That's not new. Like, this isn't new news. It's being presented to you as new information. You were literally unaware that it was happening already. So now you're like, look, I can't believe that, like, when America left, this is happening. Like, it literally was happening already. So America's involvement, one way or the other, is not necessarily changing that. Okay? Do you get that? Do you understand what I'm saying? Karl Rove on Fox News? What? Dude, he should be walking into prison, okay? Karl Rove should be the only place Karl Rove should be walking into is prison, motherfucker. I cannot believe that he's walking into Fox News instead to be like, I can't believe America's doing this.
When the war in Afghanistan began 20 years ago, and he joins me now. Karl, good to see you. As always, your thoughts as we wait for the president, and also your thoughts on how the president has handled this so far from a communications perspective, I would say. We didn't hear from him all weekend. We expect to hear from him in a few minutes.
Yeah. Look, it's been a disaster. He sent out his spokesman this weekend who said that we'd had a successful operation in Iraq, actually in Afghanistan. Not true. The last few days, they claimed the mission had been accomplished because we went to Afghanistan to get al-Qaeda. No, we went to Afghanistan to both get the people who brought down those towers on September 11th in 2001, but we also went to remove Afghanistan as a haven for terrorism. And once again, we've established Afghanistan as a haven for terrorists. Al-Qaeda, Taliban, other groups will use the country as a safe haven from which they can attack the West and attack the United States. This has been a dreadful chapter, mishandled from start to finish. From the moment the President of the United States said we're going to remove our troops on September 11th of 2021 to the hurried up, badly planned, badly executed disaster that we're seeing play out on our screens. It's been terrible from start to finish.
President Bush was interviewed recently, and he said that he was
there's no TOS there.
Worried about what was happening with the Taliban and also about the idea of an exit.
Wait, he literally started this. What the fuck's he talking about?
From our perspective, with the really relatively small footprint that we had of troops on the ground here, here's a bit of what he said. All right, let me read this out for you. I'm sad. Laura and I spent a lot of time with Afghan women, and they are scared. And I think about all the interpreters and people that helped not only U.S. troops, but NATO troops.
Dude, hundreds of thousands of people died as a consequence of both of those dipshits on screen. Like, literally, directly. Like, they personally murdered hundreds of thousands of women, men, children. What the fuck are they talking about? You know how we could have avoided hundreds of thousands of deaths? By literally not invading Afghanistan. Like, it blows my fucking mind that these people are still alive, well rested, on fucking mainstream media, talking about the actual fucking crimes that they committed.
Troops. And it seems like they're just going to be left behind to be slaughtered by these very brutal people, and it breaks my heart. Karl.
70% of the population of Afghanistan, 39 million people, 70% of them are 25 years or less. They only know a country in which there is growing opportunity for everyone, in which women can go to school, in which women can live outside the home, in which women can pursue.
Like, this never happened, dude. This never happened. Even in fucking cities. Originally, it did not happen. Like, it's so insane. What about the fucking people that you bombed, dipshit? They died, so they can't go to school anymore. What about those women? Oh, you don't give a fuck about those women because that's collateral damage. So these fucking demons actually talking about the women they care about blows my fucking mind, dude. It is... I don't even have an analogy for it. It's like... I don't know. I don't know what to say about it. Like, we never cared about the women in Afghanistan. That was not the reason why we went into Afghanistan. And we certainly didn't care about them when we were bombing the fuck out of them. We didn't care about them when we were bombing their houses. We didn't care about them when we were, like, directly murdering them. We didn't care about it when Donald Trump literally fucking pardoned and interfered with the investigation of that famous fucking special ops guy, Eddie Gallagher, who literally was such a fucking prolific murderer of women and children that his own troops, that his own battalion fucked up his sights so he could stop fucking murdering women and children regularly. Like, this is the kind of atrocity that we subjected the Afghan people to on a regular basis. So the very same leaders of this momentum, of this devastation, the actual main purveyors, the main people that started this, coming back on television to be like, oh man, I can't believe it. Like, fuck, dude. I can't believe we're just like betraying these people. It's wild to me. Was that proven? Yeah, of course it was proven. What the fuck do you mean was that proven?
Two careers in which everyone is given a measure of freedom and opportunity, and now they're going to be thrust back into a barbaric regime. But think about this. As the Taliban made its way across Afghanistan in recent days, they've rewarded Taliban fighters by giving them, quote, arranged marriages with teenage Afghan girls whom they've never met.
That literally continuously happened under the U.S. occupation, dude. What the fuck? That happened under the U.S. occupation. That continued to happen under the U.S. occupation. Not only that, but our troops that fucking said that was... Eddie Gallagher was not found guilty for killing. He was only found guilty of taking pictures of a dead enemy. Yeah. It's just like the details don't matter. I'm talking about something entirely different here. Okay? You are wrong? No, I'm not wrong. I'm 100% right, dude. I'm 1,000% correct. It literally kept happening in the entirety of Afghanistan with the exception of, like, I guess, Kabul. You can say I am wrong all you fucking want. Like, that's insane to act like this didn't happen. Guys, we already know that, like, the same forces that we were supposedly training, the Afghan security forces, were literally fucking kids, dude. Like, they were fucking kids. And the American military high command was telling people, stop reporting it. Just look the other way. You think we give a shit about the sanctity and the welfare of Afghan citizens? I'm 100% right. You are just overdosing on fucking copium. That's all this is.
And never known, and they're literally surrendering them to the control of Taliban fighters to be their wives. I mean, this is the kind of barbarianism that we saw for decades in Afghanistan that stopped after America...
And did nothing to stop in Afghanistan because, you know, we don't give a shit. Do we care this much about Afghan? Stop making jokes about Taliban on Twitter. An Afghan woman? Really, dude? My fucking jokes about the Taliban in between, like, literally relentless fucking coverage extended to it over the course of the past fucking 12 hours is really the main reason why all this shit's happening? If that's your hyper focus as an Afghan woman, then I don't know what the fuck to tell you. Like, go watch MSNBC then. They'll continue fucking telling you, no, actually, permanent occupation is really good. We should let the Afghan security forces do the rapes on Afghan women so that, like, 6 girls in Kabul could fucking go to college. I mean, it's fucking disgusting what's happening. And it's always the civilians. It's always the fucking marginalized groups that are the casualties of war. But if your goal ultimately is to justify endless American occupation, then you're a fucking idiot. Okay, have some respect. This is no joking matter. Yeah, okay. All right, well, I'm going to keep doing that, so. So you mean every woman who's crying or fearing for their life on every media interview I've seen are lying? I'm not saying they're lying, dude. I'm saying that they were in a fuck situation even when America was there. And America was never going to be there forever. What the fuck? You're really going to fucking side with Karl Rove? Like, are you insane? He's the main reason why so many fucking women died already in Afghanistan. What the fuck? Jesus Christ.
Troops and special operators joined with Afghanis to liberate this country. And now we're turning it back to the same people who refused to turn over Osama bin Laden, who gave safe harbor to al-Qaeda and other terrorist groups. Now they're going to reestablish their brutal regime. And yet, you bet the former president of the United States is deeply upset about this. For 20 years, Laura Bush has hosted groups of Afghan women who came to the United States after beginning to taste freedom in their own country in order to learn about the opportunities that were available to women all around the world.
Bro, your conspiracy
and the
is showing
idea that the Taliban is going to somehow allow that to continue is absolutely ridiculous.
But Karl, you know, the criticism also is asked of the Bush administration in terms of what the mission was at times and whether or not it was ever possible to complete that rebuilding, a democracy in Afghanistan. And you look at how quickly it fell apart when we removed our presence there. And a lot of people would say, well, that presence was all we needed. You know, that those several thousand troops was all we needed to keep this going, to keep this hope going. But what do you say to those critics of going in there in the first place?
Imagine the world if in sometime in the 1950s, somebody, Dwight Eisenhower, somebody said, you know, we've been in Europe too long, let's come home, bring everybody home. Do we really think Russia would not have taken advantage of that? What would have happened in the 1960s or 70s if we had said, you know, the Korean War, which isn't officially ended, let's get out of Korea?
Why are people killing themselves over U.S. planes when they can leave freely otherwise? Because they can't, because people are in a fucking state of panic, because they're worried. They're worried about what the Taliban is going to do, because the Taliban wasn't always a group of individuals who are like, oh yeah, totally, we want women to go to school. We won't like enforce a burqa rule. They were the type of fucking people. They were the type of dudes that were, you know, headshotting motherfuckers and like cutting their heads off on TV. So understandably, the very same people who have enjoyed civil liberties under the American occupation are going to be terrified that their way of living and the way that they are, the way that they like, the way that they live their lives is now threatened. But the reality is, how can this be fixed? And first of all, I'm fully on board with fucking offering amnesty and permanent refugee status or asylum to all of the people that want to escape Afghanistan. So I don't know why the fuck you're yelling at me about this when these same fucking demons in suits would never, ever allow that to happen. So I don't know why you're yelling at me. Okay? Like, literally, if you're fucking crying to me about how little I give a shit about the women in Afghanistan, like, I advocate for all of the people of Afghanistan that wish to escape to get unconditional amnesty to the victims of American war and American occupation. Thank you, Locket Rancher, for the 10 Tier 1 gift subs.
Do you think Asia would look like it does today, where we have strong allies and great trading partners? What would have happened if we had withdrawn from those areas? And the same thing here. Our combat role was ended. The last American casualty was in February of 2020. We had a small group of people, but they were powerful. They provided intelligence gathering, they provided leadership, and most important of all, they provided air power. And the one thing that was keeping the Taliban in check was the realization that if they ever presented themselves to American air power in support of Afghan ground fighters, that they were going to be dead. And for us to have taken the short-sighted view that the United States should walk away and that we wouldn't suffer any ramifications, no fallout from this thing is just astonishing to me. Better to have stayed and kept this commitment to the Afghan people and kept America safe. We fought them over there, so we didn't have to fight them here.
I advocate that's the most self-important thing you said. Sorry, I didn't fly a fucking AC-130 over there and, you know, scoop up as many women as I possibly could so that your fucking delusional liberal fantasy could be accomplished. Yeah, there is not much more I can do from here and in general, and it's a hell of a lot more than what the overwhelming majority of mainstream media is doing at the moment. So suck my fucking cock and go watch MSNBC and cry about Katie Couric or some shit. I'm sure that they can't respond to you. They don't give a shit that you're alive or dead. So you shut the fuck up and you take whatever slop they're serving you there. Okay? Because whether you like it or not, America's puppet government is still better than the fucking terrorists take control of the government. Yeah, dude.
Here, do you think the regime that gave safe harbor to Al Qaeda is going to be interested in payback against the United States of America? You bet they are.
Yeah, it would be very interesting to hear that argument made by President Biden, but he made the opposite argument that what we needed was to bring everyone home. We haven't lost, as you say, a member of our U.S. military in 18 months. Now you've got 6,000 people on the ground there, just trying to hold the airport, which is proving to be a very difficult task, even with these increased numbers.
Yeah, only a difficult task because of the citizens that are trying to get on board, by the way. Not because, like, the Taliban is fucking attacking or anything like that. A difficult task because the American military is trying to forcibly stop Afghan citizens that are trying to escape Kabul from getting on fucking planes. Understandable, because, like, some of them are literally so desperate that they're fucking clinging on to the tires and shit. But that's the literal reason why. Interesting that they're not mentioning that. Interesting that there were no solutions about, like, I don't know, allowing a fast, expedited refugee process to all asylum seekers immediately. None of that. Oh, yeah, Joe Biden bad. Joe Biden bad. Okay, dude. Yeah, I'm sure. No, we should have just kept staying in fucking Afghanistan and kept fighting and having people fucking die for no reason, dude. That's a better way to do it.
On the ground in the airport so that we can get people out. Karl, thank you very much. I know you're going to be watching this along with us, and we're going to take the president as soon as he begins.
Bunch of fucking wild saviors in the chat, dude. Bunch of fucking wild saviors in the chat going, oh my God, our puppet government was actually a more civilizing force. Shut the fuck up, dude. God damn, Americans are so fucking pathetic, dude. Even liberal Americans are just, like, so insane when they talk about this, like, the American occupying imperial force is actually a civilizing force of imperialism. When they were fucking blowing up women, okay? When they were blowing up women with drone strikes, they were actually doing it in a civilizing manner. Shut the fuck up.
767 out of Station stands with the good people of New York City.
On my orders, the United States military has begun strikes.
We've been at war for 18 years now. We're not winning, we're not losing. Presidents come and go, but nothing really seems to change.
Vital national interest to send an additional 30,000 U.S. troops.
We're learning about the Pentagon Papers, where the American government actually internally realized that this war was fucking never going to be won. Okay? You know, maybe this will help you, I don't know, reconsider your fucking white man's burden, civilizing force of imperial good rhetoric.
To Afghanistan.
The Pentagon
Our
Papers.
troops will fight to win.
About Afghanistan. Pentagon Papers 2.0.
to win.
So how are we going to tell this story? And we thought through these documents, these firsthand interviews from people who were involved, and yet this material had been suppressed for so long, that this was an original way to tell the story of all the failures in Afghanistan.
We're basically fighting the wrong way.
We just let the Afghans rip us off.
Because we didn't know how the story was going to end.
We are not really here to win.
In the fall of 2016, General Michael Flynn, who at that time was a retired U.S. general in intelligence.
Oh yeah, by the way, fucking Michael Flynn, dude. That's the other part of this that's incredible. You know, that QAnon psychopath. The Republic was not awesome, but if you seriously think withdrawal now is a good idea, then you are dumb. I know someone from here who did not want us to go, and we just made everything there go from bad to worse. You know, you can like live in Afghanistan and still be wrong, right? I don't know if you know this or not. Like maybe they're too young to fucking recognize that like an occupying force is never a force for good. Maybe they're too dumb to recognize that now, at the very least, you have an opportunity to fucking, I don't know, implement sovereignty, organize, fight back against the Taliban. Maybe you have no friend that is saying that. I'm glad. I appreciate your fucking, you know, personal anecdote from your friend. Kind of strange, though, because everything points to, with the exception of Kabul and certain areas that benefited from Western involvement, kind of seems like for most people that live all around, Afghanistan, it's like, well, you know, not much is changing. And we'll talk to people living in Afghanistan tomorrow.
Intelligence director at the Pentagon was working with Donald Trump on his campaign, and he was in the headlines quite a bit.
You admitted that many people are enjoying civil liberties under American occupancy. There's a great potential for that to change under Taliban control. It doesn't matter, bro. That's not how you can do things, okay? That's not how things work. Americans are so fucking asinine, dude. It blows my goddamn mind. Like, it literally blows my fucking mind that you can openly sit here and be like, well, some people were enjoying civil liberties under American occupation, so we should continue waging war and occupying a country. That is completely psychopathic. I don't know what you need to recognize that. Like, how? You're literally getting duped by the media telling you, like, it was actually good, that American imperialist war machine was a force for fucking good. Like, what do you want? You want to fucking keep sending hard-dicked 18-year-olds out there so they get fucking blown to bits? Is that what you want? By another 18-year-old who has no idea what the fuck 9/11 even is? Like that, because that's what's going on right now. There's motherfuckers who were not alive when the Twin Towers fucking fell, that are going out there and getting their shit blown up by other dudes that have no fucking idea about why they're fighting the war that they're fighting. No, it's sick, dude. We should keep doing that. We should continue doing that. You know, so 20 years down the line, when the inevitable pullout also happens, because this is a war of attrition, then it will have these same exact conversations again. Meanwhile, no one is talking about like evacuating the people that you care so much about. Why not? Why won't you allow fucking refugees to come into the country then? There hasn't been a casualty in 18 months. I wonder why. We all know the war drum is mostly being beat by military girlfriends who want to continue cheating on their boyfriends and husbands. Probably. Is 3,500 non-combat troops an occupying force? Be realistic about what was there? Dude, that is such a psychotic take, dude. You're so fucking dumb. If they continued the occupation, then there would be a necessity for more fucking troops because the Taliban would not just sit there and be like, all right, I guess there's only 3,500 troops. Why are they there? Why? They're there to extract minerals. They're not there to fucking... They're there to extract allow American corporations to fucking extract minerals from Afghanistan. Not because they genuinely care about like fucking women going to school in Kabul, dude. What the fuck is wrong with you? And by the way, ultimately, that was the same fucking bargain that the American government ended up making. Why am I repeating the same takes over and over again? There's like really fucking dumb people.
Love it. America first. America first.
And we'd heard there had been an interview done, a long interview done with Michael Flynn about the war in Afghanistan, and that this interview had been conducted by an obscure government agency called the Special Inspector General for Afghanistan Reconstruction. Since Flynn was in the news lot, we wanted to take a look at that interview, and so then we had to file a Freedom of Information Act request, and this dragged on for weeks, and Trump won the election, and Trump was president. Now Flynn was his national security advisor in the White House.
Good afternoon, everyone.
And ultimately, they denied us the interview. They said it wasn't a public record, so the Post had to file a lawsuit in federal court to obtain it.
Ambassadors, local, down at the local level, everybody did a great job. We're all doing a great job. Really? So if we're doing such a great job, why does it feel like we're losing?
Michael Flynn was just unsparing in his criticism of how the war was going. Then we found out that Flynn was only one of hundreds of people who had been interviewed by this Inspector General for Afghanistan over the previous few years. So we thought, well, we want to see what everybody else had to say about the war, all these insiders and generals and diplomats. And the agency hemmed and hawed, and we won the lawsuit with Flynn, so they couldn't really say no. And it led to what ultimately was 3 years of legal battles, and we had to file a second lawsuit. We didn't start getting more of them really till 2018. There were hundreds of these. This is what we were told. Over 400 of these interviews. And the more we got, the more we realized that the patterns here of what all these people said really added up to a real indictment of how the war was fought and the policies behind it and how misguided they were. Separately, as a batch of documents, we managed to obtain hundreds of memos that Donald Rumsfeld wrote when he was the defense secretary in the Pentagon. It was the National Security Archive at George Washington University that originally obtained them. So the Special Inspector General for Afghanistan Reconstruction, it's a mouthful. They go by the acronym SIGAR, S-I-G-A-R. They were created by Congress in 2008 to investigate fraud and abuse in the war zone. These documents that we obtained were really for a special side project that they called Lessons Learned, that they wanted to depart from their usual mission and they wanted to take a look at the policy failures behind the war. This started in 2014, they decided to do this, and the purpose at that point was they thought the war was winding down.
And by the end of next year, our war in Afghanistan will be over.
It's all ready for recording.
University, and I had did a lot for years in Afghanistan, so I was quite well known.
If you're going to use a quote from me, could you run it by me?
But little did they know, the war was going to keep dragging on. In a way, these interviews are incredibly timely. There are people looking back at what went wrong, but they're still talking to the problems that exist now that still haven't been resolved, and why the war is still going on, and why the United States can't get out of it. Well, I told my editors, I said, these documents are something that first haven't seen the light of day. They were supposed to be using these interviews to publish their own report. So SIGAR, starting in 2017, started publishing some reports every once in a while, but there were these big, thick doorstop government reports with a lot of charts and numbers, and only a few quotes from the interviews they did.
Now, the goal of today's report is to help U.S., Afghan, and other coalition policymakers and agencies as they prepare for that daunting task of assisting with the reintegration of
the Inspector General himself, a guy named John Sopko. At one point I went to meet with him to tell him why I thought this information should be public, and we've already filed Freedom of Information Act requests. What's the problem? This is noteworthy, this is newsworthy, the public should know about this. And he agreed. Even this guy who's the head of this agency who's resisting giving us the documents, he says that the documents show the American people were lied to. We first came to your office 3 years ago, more than 3 years ago, in August of 2016, to ask for General Flynn's interview, which I haven't seen quoted in any of your lessons learned report, but it's an eyebrow-raising interview where he's very blunt about problems in the war. Why couldn't you be more forthcoming with these documents? Why did it take so long to release them?
Well, first of all, we don't have classifying authority.
Right.
So we have to send it back to, under FOIA, send it back to the agencies to review. And as a matter of fact, some of the material that I think may be at a Flynn interview, but I know some of the interviews, was classified.
Of the 400 interviews that were released, only about 15, 16 of them had any classified information redacted.
Yeah, but we still have to review the information. We also have to then go through a whole process on it.
But you weren't trying to slow roll it?
No. And no one's asked us to slow roll it, and we wouldn't slow roll it. I think of any inspector general, I've probably been the most forthcoming on information. We're firm believers in openness and transparency, but we got to follow the law.
There's a clear pattern that what was said in private in these interviews contrasted so greatly with what U.S. officials, presidents, members of Congress, military commanders, what they had been saying in public over 18 years. Usually the talking points were all pretty similar. They would say the war's it's a tough place.
Conditions that are very trying.
It was a tough year.
Afghanistan, there's still fighting going on.
Increase in Taliban violence.
A higher level of violence.
But we're making progress.
Progress.
Significant progress.
You know, we're going in the right direction.
We are on the right road.
In the right direction.
And our strategy is sound.
I think it's important to understand that we do have a strategy that's quite broad.
That our strategy is succeeding.
And they would give a very detailed case for why the American people should keep having to fight this war halfway around the world. But when you read these interviews, people would say that this was a lot of spin and lies to some extent.
And after 03-04, once we're fully engaged in both wars, I can't remember us ever saying, should we be there? Are we being useful? Are we succeeding?
There were people in the White House who were giving interviews saying very explicitly that statistics or figures about the war that were indicators of who was winning and losing or how things were going were being twisted around or manipulated or almost made up.
As intelligence makes its way up higher, it gets consolidated and it gets really, really watered down.
One of the most sobering things to read for me was just how many people involved in the war were very blunt and candid that the strategy, the war strategy under Obama and Bush and Trump, they all said it was worthless. A few excerpts that I was shocked at. I mean, there was Doug Lute, General Lute, who was the Afghan war czar in the White House for 2 administrations, Bush and Obama. So this guy was, from the White House perspective, overseeing the war. And he's saying things like, we had no idea what we were doing. He said, I bumped into an even more fundamental lack of knowledge. We were devoid of a fundamental understanding of Afghanistan. General Dan McNeill, who was a 2-time military commander there. I tried to get someone to define for me what winning meant even before I went over, and nobody could. This is the commanding officer 2 times of the military in Afghanistan. To me, it's pretty astounding. These are the people in charge of the war, essentially saying it was a disaster, and they knew it. But I don't see any of these comments in your lessons learned reports. Why didn't you include those?
And that is sort of the limitation of where we go. See, as an inspector general, I don't do policy. What all you quoted were people talking about a bad policy.
Why did your staff interview all these people I just quoted if they aren't going to be used?
They may well be used.
But they weren't. None of those people.
Not up to now, but.
That's the whole fundamental reason questioning why the United States is there. How could you let that drop?
Well, we didn't let it drop. I mean, the stuff is available. We're still producing these reports.
We just sued you twice to get our hands on it.
I don't know if quoting General Lutz saying that we screwed up or we didn't have the plan would be any more useful than the audits and investigations and other reports that we have, which make the same point.
You don't think that would be more useful to have the White House war czar, who admitted they had no idea what we were doing in Afghanistan, and you don't think that'd be useful to tell that to the public?
In my humble opinion, no.
When you talk about the very basics of why we were there and what they were trying to accomplish, these people who are in charge of the war, military commanders, ambassadors, people at the White House, they were very plain and blunt spoken about this, to say, we didn't have a strategy. We didn't even know who the enemy was. Who were we there to fight?
These carefully targeted actions are designed to disrupt the use of Afghanistan as a terrorist base of operations.
Well, originally, President Bush decided to start bombing Afghanistan because Osama bin Laden, he was in Afghanistan. So it seemed straightforward at the time. Well, we have to go to Afghanistan because we have to retaliate against al-Qaeda. But in pretty short order, within several months, there weren't many al-Qaeda left in Afghanistan. So then the war shifted, and then it became blurrier. Who were we fighting? Who was the enemy? Was it just al-Qaeda? Was it the Taliban? Well, yeah, we were fighting the Taliban, but we didn't even have a good sense of who the Taliban were or why we were fighting them. Some of these interviews are really eye-opening from people who played a really key role, and one of them was Ambassador Ryan Crocker.
For the record, this is how manufacturing consent works, okay? Exactly, precisely what he's talking about. The media will fucking bang on the war drums, and some of you dummies will hear that and go, oh my God, like, even though the actual intelligence shows that the narrative that you're hearing from the media is completely, wholeheartedly bullshit, okay?
Who actually
it doesn't fucking matter, and you're doing it right now whenever you tell me about saving Afghan women.
Top U.S. diplomat in Afghanistan twice, and he was also well known as U.S. ambassador to Pakistan and Iraq. So this is a very seasoned diplomat. And he told a story to these interviewers. They were asking him about an Afghan vice president and defense minister named Mohammed Fahim Khan. Ambassador Crocker told this story about how when he first met Fahim Khan, this warlord, it was in 2002.
He was giggling, and he proceeded to relate to us that a mob had gotten out of control at the airport and had murdered the Minister of Civil Aviation. And he giggled while he related this. Much later, it emerged, I don't know if it was ever verified or not, it emerged that Fahim Khan himself had the minister killed. But I certainly came out of those opening months with the feeling that even by Afghan standards, I was in the presence of a totally evil person.
The good thing about Fahim Khan is that he is dead.
Yeah, and I check about every other day, and as far as I know, he's still dead.
This was one of our closest allies in Afghanistan for most of the war. The U.S. knew it was dealing with some very, very difficult, ruthless, brutal people, but the point Crocker was making is these were our allies in the war. We had some difficult decisions to make on who we were fighting against and who we were fighting with. It makes you realize that this war is in real trouble if you can't figure out who the enemy is, why we're fighting them, and what we hope to accomplish. Now, what they've done is they've blacked out the names of probably 90% of the people they've interviewed. They also redacted some material that they said was classified. They redacted a lot of material that they just said the public has no right to know. Now, you mentioned about there's some people whose names you couldn't divulge.
Yeah.
Your staff has made the argument that they're whistleblowers. Do you see these people, these 400-some people, as whistleblowers?
When somebody comes to you with information that could be derogatory to their current job, their former job, their colleagues, we treat that information carefully.
But they didn't come to you, you went to them.
Well, we went to them, whatever. Just like a Washington Post reporter will go to somebody and somebody will say, I'll talk to you, but I don't want the information revealed.
But you're not a Washington Post reporter,
well,
you're an inspector general,
but
right?
I'm under the same restrictions about not divulging sensitive information. You may have a different objective. You want to have the name out there, you can talk to them, and that's okay. That's your job. But my job and my people's job was to try to get the information, to try to come up with best practices, with lessons learned. And if the person said, I'm not going to talk to you if you quote me, well, okay, we'll take the information anyway, because this is a different type of report than our normal.
The Post really believes very strongly that the public has a right to know who said these things about Afghanistan. That if these people are saying that the Afghan war was screwed up, that the United States didn't know what it was doing in Afghanistan, that this is a waste of money, a waste of lives that has gone on for 18 years, those are very damning comments from people who are involved in the war. And the public has a right to know who's saying these things. And they went to great lengths to hide this material from the public.
There's lack of courage.
The administration simply wasn't being held to account for what was going on in Afghanistan. There was very little high-level attention.
But, we just did so many things that weren't thought out systematically that ultimately doomed our mission in Afghanistan.
Now we move on to how the CIA basically waged war in Afghanistan. The second part of this process. Now that you understand that, check who did the graphics on the WAPO vid. Oh, was it Will Neff?
Outlining the war. The administration adopted what you had essentially laid out for a period of time as the campaign plan for Afghanistan. And that was unprecedented, right? To have someone from the Central Intelligence Agency sort of outlining the war plan.
It breaks all the rules. The job of CIA is to inform policy, it's not to make policy.
Will Neff in the end. Common fucking name, guys. Vice News is interviewing Robert Grenier.
Robert Grenier is the former CIA station chief for Pakistan and Afghanistan. He was responsible for designing the Afghanistan war plan following the 9/11 attacks that drove the Taliban and al-Qaeda from Kandahar. This was a stunning turn of events that the veteran intelligence officer has captured in vivid detail in his new book, 88 Days to Kandahar, a CIA diary. Vice News sat down with Grenier at his home in Virginia to talk about America's longest war. Post 9/11, you were the chief of station in Pakistan at the time. What happened next?
Well, as the chief of station in Pakistan at that time, I had responsibility not only for Pakistan, but also for all of Taliban-occupied Afghanistan, which was 90% of the country. In a sense, the story began well before. About 18 months before 9/11, I and the others in my station were working very hard to try to organize a anti-Taliban tribal rebellion in the South. Now, we weren't actively doing that because we didn't have a presidential finding that would permit us to do that. We didn't have the authorities. But we were reaching out and establishing relationships that we hoped would enable us to lead that sort of a rebellion if and when the order came to go forward. And obviously that order came to go forward in the immediate days after 9/11.
In the immediate days after 9/11, you had hoped, according to your book, that you could utilize all of those assets that you'd been developing relationships with to actually accomplish either overthrowing the Taliban or pushing al-Qaeda, denying them safe haven in Afghanistan. That was the initial goal, right?
As I tried to explain to Washington at the outset, look, at the end of the day, unless we're going to colonize Afghanistan, we need to have some sort of a political dispensation in that country that will deny it as a safe haven to international terrorists. And so initially, we were hoping that the Taliban would be that force. Now, they had refused up until then. With the potential imminence of an American invasion, we were hoping that that would cause Mullah Omar, the head of the Taliban, to change his mind. He did not change his mind, and so I worked very hard in 2 long meetings with his deputy to try to convince him to push Mullah Omar aside and do what his chief could not. And he very briefly agreed, but that agreement didn't survive his return to Kandahar, and he quickly thought better of it. And so in the end, we had to push the Taliban writ large aside and come in on the side of the Northern Alliance in the Civil War, but very, very importantly, at the same time, support tribal leaders in the Pashtun south of Afghanistan who were willing to rise up against the Taliban. The Taliban was an indigenous religious movement, really, much more so than a political party. They were a movement in southern Afghanistan, in the Pashtun areas of Afghanistan. And it was that movement which was empowered by the situation after the Soviet withdrawal from Afghanistan, when the different mujahideen leaders who had united in the fight against the Soviets fell to fighting against one another. And so Afghanistan was a complete mess. There was absolute insecurity. People, particularly in the South, were looking for someone to save them. And the Taliban was that force, and Islam was their driving motivation. And when you don't have anything to include security, the one thing that you most crave is security, and that's what the Taliban was able to provide.
In the post-9/11 days, the administration adopted what you had essentially laid out for a period of time as the campaign plan for Afghanistan. And that was unprecedented, right? To have someone from the Central Intelligence Agency sort of outlining the war plan.
It breaks all the rules. The job of CIA is to inform policy, it's not to make policy. And because CIA was in such a unique position in Afghanistan, first of all, the country was very little known, very little understood, including even within the intelligence community, certainly in the executive branch writ large. We quickly determined that the best way forward was for us to leverage relationships with Afghans on the ground who could do what we could not over the long term, and that is to deny their country as a safe haven to international terrorists. And because CIA had those relationships, people were looking to CIA to actually lead this effort. And so that put me in a very, very...
I love when he's like, did you guys catch the part where he's like, you know, we didn't have actual congressional approval, but I was still trying to desperately drum up some kind of insurgency against the Taliban in the region, you know, just like gearing up. Interesting stuff from the CIA man. I also love watching videos like this because he's basically saying precisely what I've been telling you, but he's saying that it's good. The main difference between like what I do as far as commentary and what he is doing here is telling you exactly what the fucking details of the case are, or the details of the situation is. But I think that's bad, and I tell you why I think that's bad. He's basically just saying, like, that's actually pretty good. We're just casually doing all this, and it's also, you know, it's actually a casual way to try to drum up an insurgency against it. He's like, why are you there, dude? Oh, sorry. To advance America's interests, of course. Trick question. So where are all the fucking annoying neoliberals now, chat? Where are all the annoying neoliberal defenders of how I'm a fucking conspiracy theorist or some shit? Maybe they're stuck on the top of the hour ad break that's coming right now because it is fucking 5. You lost 5K viewers? I don't care. What do you mean? Dude, no one is going to sit here for 6 hours and listen to the complicated history of Afghanistan over and over again. Okay? Maybe they are stuck watching this motherfucking ad break, baby. Of course, if you no longer want to be stuck watching the ad break, all you need to do is subscribe. You can do it for $5 or for free with a Twitch Prime if you have one. Okay? By connecting your Amazon Prime account to your Twitch account, or you can use an ad blocker or a VPN, but here's the 1-minute ad break now.
Very unique position, and I laid out first for the War Cabinet and then for the President how I thought we should go forward, at least in terms of broad outline, and that's what the President approved.
And so that began what you describe in your book as the first Afghan war.
Right.
Can you explain these distinctions? How many Afghan wars are there?
Well, we don't know yet. And you could go back to the days of the anti-Soviet jihad when the U.S. at least played a supporting role for the Mujahideen. But in terms of direct U.S. involvement in hostilities in Afghanistan, obviously that began with the immediate post 9/11 period. And as I describe in the book, the 88 days, it was 88 days from 9/11 until the 7th of December 2001 when we and our Afghan allies succeeded in driving both al-Qaeda and the Taliban out of their capital, which was Kandahar. And so that, to my mind, was the first American-Afghan war, the one that we thought, at least, that we'd won. And that, in fact, we had the opportunity to consolidate that victory. I think that we and the Afghans, they don't escape blame in all of this, failed to do that. And by the time I returned to focus once again personally on Afghanistan and Pakistan in the spring of 2005, by that time I was the director of counterterrorism, made an extensive visit both to Pakistan and to Afghanistan. And you could see at that point that the Taliban was beginning to gain traction once again in southern and eastern Afghanistan. We didn't know how serious it was at the time, but that, to my mind, was the start of the second American-Afghan war, the one where the U.S. essentially took over. After 2005, as we began to see the situation slipping away, and in a sense, in so many words, we as a government decided that Afghanistan was too important to be left to Afghans. And we
Hey, one Albanian chatter, shut the fuck up, okay? I changed the Talibania title to Talibama just so the singular Albanian chatter could shut the fuck up in the chat. It's kind of cringe. Albania is allowing people to come in. Kind of cringe. Literally one guy. I changed it. Are you happy? Shut up.
We tried to turn Afghanistan, I would argue, into something that it was not. A highly centralized state with a large army, large national police force, and we tried to do things that we certainly were not going to be able to do in the amount of time that we made available, and that arguably Afghans were never going to be able to sustain on their own. And I think that was the big error that we made. That's led us up to the present and the substantial U.S. withdrawal from Afghanistan. And I'm concerned that at some point, when things shift again and the front lines in the global jihad move once again, that once again international terrorists in significant numbers may be motivated to come back to Afghanistan, and we may be forced to fight another American-Afghan war.
What do you think the prognosis is for Afghanistan now in this diminished American presence there?
I don't think we will ever see a coalition government involving the Taliban in Kabul. There's always going to be a place for the Taliban as long as we're around in Pashtun society, and somehow that's going to have to be accommodated. And I think that is the story of the next few years. I'm afraid that if the international community, particularly the United States...
Wow, it's almost like this motherfucker back in 2015 knew exactly what was going to happen. Just like back in 2014, they knew exactly what was going to happen. Like the fucking Pentagon Afghanistan papers that we just saw. They always fucking knew. You just found out just now, and you're still, for some weird reason, repeating the dumbass liberal mainstream media warmongering positions that, for whatever interest they may have, trying to justify the continuation of the occupation.
States abandon Afghanistan financially, especially, that this government could go under and we could end up in a situation very similar to the one that we faced just before 9/11.
Now we're facing a new terrorist threat, an emergent terrorist threat in northern Iraq and Syria, in the Islamic State. What are the lessons that we can draw to apply to this new threat that has emerged in the Islamic State?
Well, you're suggesting that the situation with the Islamic State, ISIS, ISIL, whatever you want to call it, in Iraq and Syria is quite different from what we faced in Afghanistan and parts of Pakistan. But there are some very important analogies to be made. And I think it really, from our perspective, it has to do with what the constructive U.S. role should be. What we're facing in Iraq, and even more so in Syria, is that we don't have effective allies on the ground in those countries. We need indigenous forces. We don't have them. Already we're beginning to see pressure build to see a much more...
And that's where the Kurds come in.
Robust American effort in those countries. And I think that that would be a very, very serious mistake because, as I say, there, as in Afghanistan, at the end of the day, these countries are going to be ruled, governed by the indigenous people. And if we come in a very heavy-handed way, we qualitatively change the nature of the struggle. It becomes the infidels fighting against good Muslims. And that actually undercuts our natural allies in the area. It strengthens our natural enemies. That's not where we want to be, and that's where we could end up, just as we did in the latter years in Afghanistan.
What are our lessons learned from the Afghanistan conflicts?
The primary lesson that we need to learn has to do with this large, in fact, global problem that we have of an ungoverned space. Those are the spaces that are used by international terrorists as safe havens.
Biden just erased the last 2 decades of our work in the Middle East. Our work doing what? Fucking your mom, dude? Listen, motherfucker, if you're going to talk like that, going forward, you have to fucking... I will drop you, okay? I will drop you out of a fucking plane with a parachute strapped to your goddamn chest so you go continue the work, okay? That's it. The moment that you ever say some shit like this on the internet, anonymous or not, you get boop, put up in a fucking system where you're forcibly drafted to go do whatever they're talking about, okay? Spend 1 day in Afghanistan, then your opinion is valid. Biden will go down as one of the worst presidents in U.S. history. Sleepy Joe really just erased the last 2 decades. How many days did you spend in Afghanistan, you dumb fuck? Glad Biden just shit on the countless number of soldiers we lost fighting in a war that... Hey, dumbass, you're almost there. Okay? You're literally almost there. Yes, the countless number of soldiers we lost fighting that war, let alone the civilian casualties, which is significantly fucking higher as far as numbers, but you don't care about them because they're brown, right? Because they're not human in your minds. Why do you want to extend that, you dumb fuck? The countless number of soldiers we lost. Hey, welcome, dude. This is the first fucking step towards you recognizing that war is a goddamn racket for the wealthy and elites and people who are going to make money off of all of those fucking young kids, men and women, going over there and getting fucking blown to goddamn bits, okay? Hello. There you go, dude. Imagine going to the battle with your brothers to lose them fighting the war over your own president. Also, and I've said this before, and I will say it with my entire fucking chest, if you are a veteran and you went down there, you did not recognize the atrocities that you were fucking committing, and then only now where you're like, oh my God, why did I die? Why did my fucking best friend die in vain? Then you're a dumbass, dude. Welcome to the real world, okay? Yes, you were abused. Yes, you were exploited. Welcome to recognition. Welcome to recognizing that abuse. Maybe, perhaps you should work to dismantle that same system instead of fucking being like, all the fucking Afghan civilians I shot in the direction of, what was that for? Nothing? Dumbass. Now, the moment for your redemption is upon us, okay? Shut the fuck up and get the fucking work. get to fucking work to try to stop that from happening to other people. I agree with that. So we just let him win? What do you mean let him win? They won. It's their country. It's literally their country. Okay? We went in there, got our shit pushed in, okay, like a bunch of pathetic little fucking losers by a bunch of goddamn goat herders using weapons from like the last time we armed them, okay? They wore slides, motherfucker. You went down there, wore a goddamn rucksack or whatever kind of fucking 80 pounds of gear in the middle of the desert heat, couldn't get acclimated to the fucking climate. We're having a fucking heat stroke the entire goddamn time. Cost like $200,000 just to carry your dumbass around and all the fucking gear that you had on top all around. And then some motherfucker in slides and an RPG literally owned your shit, okay? Absolutely fucking dumpstered, and owned your goddamn shit. Perhaps it's time to fucking reconsider, okay? Invasion was warranted. United clans of people that treat girls and women like goldfish, harboring people that claim to be responsible for 9/11. That is not a justification for going anywhere, okay? Shut the fuck up. So why didn't we stop when fucking Osama was no longer in Afghanistan? Why do you continue it for 20 years, dude? Just for funsies, right? Shut up. Yeah, they were using fucking recycled batteries to just absolutely destroy like $1 million fucking pieces of equipment. All it was for was so that like 10 fucking companies could make a goddamn killing. Okay? By taking your tax dollars and pumping it into research and development, and also using that research and development as a testing ground on the civilians of Afghanistan and Iraq, so that they could then turn around and use it on you, the American citizens, when you come back and your brain is fucking broken from PTSD and you think wearing a mask means it's like devil time and devil worship, so you want to fucking protest against the government. So now they're using the same kind of fucking the long-range acoustic device that they used in Iraq 10 years ago on your bitch ass. Okay? Good luck. Have fun. What a great situation we have created for ourselves. Someone's got to use those weapons. Dad is a vet and was there for 9 years of his life, lost his best friends, and people back home just sit on Twitch and shit on our vets. Yeah, you're right. All of our vets are dumbasses. No, my friend. I'm saying specifically your dad, okay? Your dad who's a veteran who was there for 9 years. I love that you are not a veteran, by the way. I guess you missed it when I was talking to a veteran, but whatever. No, I'm saying your dad is a dumbass, okay? You can be a veteran and still be a fucking dumbass. And if your dad is unaware and like only now is he recognizing that like he was fucked over by the American government and he doesn't want to change that. He doesn't want to like all of a sudden join About Face or Veterans Against Foreign Wars or I don't know, a multitude of other fucking organizations that are readily available for veterans who recognize that like their service was for literally nothing other than improving the bottom line of like 12 goddamn military industrial complex corporations, then yes, your dad is a fucking dumbass. Sorry, that's just the goddamn truth. I'm not gonna fucking I'm not gonna treat you with kitty gloves, okay? It's just the truth. It's literally the truth. At least a lot of veterans recognize that shitty bargain and work against it. Do you want me to serve it to you with like a little bit of fucking sugar coating? Is that what you want? I'm just going to be honest with you. I'm not a veteran. Yeah, I'm not saying you are. I'm saying your dad is if he's like, if that's his take. How the fuck do you guys seriously back the fucking Taliban? This is what America's really become? None of us are backing the Taliban, you dumb fuck. God damn, I'm literally having a conversation with a 14-year-old who has no understanding of like complex geopolitical problems, warring tribes and shit like that. That they just think like you're either the part of American military or against it and pro-Taliban.
And those are the spaces that need to be filled one way or another. And those are not spaces that can be permanently filled by the United States or the West writ large. That's something that can only be done by Muslims. And so I think if there's a lesson that is reinforced by our experience in Afghanistan, it's that this global struggle is really not between the West and a group of radical Islamists. This is a struggle within the Islamic world for the heart and the soul and the future of the Islamic world. And ultimately, it's Muslims who are going to determine the victor in all this.
In 2002, as the U.S. was secretly laying the groundwork for another invasion, this time in Iraq, Grenier returned to Washington and was named Iraq Mission Manager. He was responsible for all of the CIA's intelligence operations and analysis in the country. Were there mistakes made that helped to foster what we...
You are so good at sounding confident, talking about something you know nothing about. What, that kid's dad is a dumbass because he thinks that, like, you know, we should have been permanently in Afghanistan? Okay, well, that's an authority figure that you should agree with. The fucking CIA dipshit over here who's saying the exact same thing. He just thinks it's good. I think it's bad.
See now is the rise of the Islamic State?
The short answer is yes. There were many unintended consequences of decisions that we made in a different context, particularly with regard to Iraq. You know, given the extent to which I have been very critical of the George W. Bush administration and the way that they conducted that campaign in Iraq, some people may be surprised to learn that, in fact, I supported the effort at the outset. I supported the idea of invading Iraq in order to topple Saddam Hussein. And we could spend a long time talking about, you know, the reasons for that. I've not given up that idea. That said, as soon as we won the military campaign, as we knew we would, and relatively easily, I think we made a series of very bad mistakes. Now, we don't know how history would have turned out if we had followed what I would regard as wiser policies, but I certainly felt at the time, and I think history has borne out, that we made some very serious mistakes in formally disbanding the Iraqi army, in formally disbanding the Ba'ath Party. And what we did, just as in Afghanistan, essentially we and our Afghan allies conveyed the idea to the Taliban that there's no place for you in the new Afghanistan, we conveyed the
As a soldier, you are not there to kill or slay places. We were there to actually help build schools, rivers, make sure you water is a resource. I'm not saying it's good being a soldier, but hanging people out like that makes you a dumbass, says Ghost Fanta. Are you a veteran? Are you a veteran? Are you a veteran? Okay. I'm not a veteran. Okay. I'm a Korean War veteran. Hold on. I'm going to find... Hold on. Okay, I am a veteran now. Just kidding. That's one. Two, are you fucking that stupid? As a soldier, you're not there to kill or slay places. We were there to actually help build schools. There is 0% chance that this dude actually fucking toured. Okay? Like, literally 0% chance that this dude toured. Like, I will put money on it, okay? Yeah. I love mechanical soldiers. I love calling up, you know, electrical soldiers to come and, you know, fix the lighting in my house. You know what I mean? My brother, for example, is an aerospace and mechanical soldier. He builds, you know, satellites and stuff like that. Oh, wait, there's a term for that. It's called engineer, dude. Yeah, I love when Obama was building a hospital by blowing it up in Kunduz. None of you fucking nerds will ever understand actually being there to help and not kill dumb fucks. I love the amount of help that the American military gave the people of Afghanistan by, you know, shipping their own pedophile warlords into certain areas. Or at the very least, just like giving them bags of cash. It's pretty funny. They really, dude. When I think of Afghanistan, I think of all of the fucking wonderful schools. I was an HVAC technician in the Air Force, but when I deployed, I was boots on the ground. This dude is a dumbass.
The conception to Sunnis writ large that there really is no place for you in the new Iraq. And I think it was exaggerated by them, but that was the clear idea that they got. That's what drove the insurgency that we fought. And it was that insurgency then that created the space for Islamic extremists to come in and essentially take over the struggle. I spent about 16 years overseas, mostly in Muslim countries, mostly in primitive Muslim countries. And during that time, you managed to pick up a lot of stuff. Old guns in Afghanistan and daggers from the Arabian Peninsula and Pakistan.
This is Yemen, right?
This Yemen, yeah, exactly. And this one is from Morocco. This is a gold inlaid crysknife from Indonesia. This is a particularly interesting one, I think. This is all gold fill, and if you take a look at the blade, it's all it's watered steel.
Some real fucking colonization happening right in front of our eyes, dude. I went there, fucked shit up, stole some artifacts, and now I'm back, baby. I got paid handsomely.
And this is an old manuscript that was given to me as a gift by a very dear friend in North Africa. And of course, it's all handwritten, probably about 150
What's he doing in North Africa, chat?
or more years old.
Grenier was working at CIA when the agency received approval in 2002 to use so-called enhanced interrogation techniques, or EITs, on suspected high-value terrorists who were detained at secret black site prisons. In his book, Grenier said that by the time he inherited the EIT program a few years later as director of the CIA's Counterterrorism Center, it was efficient and highly disciplined. And with the exception of waterboarding, he supported the continued use.
No, the black site isn't in Portland, chat. It was in Poland. The good friend in North Africa, 1000% is like an Egyptian black site that he's referencing, like a dude that was a torturer there, probably.
Of the methods. In the news very prominently lately is a retrospective.
Guys, he's woke on fucking torture. You know, we talk about Taliban a lot and we're like, oh my God, they're doing this, they're doing that. And they are fucking horrible, right? But then you turn your head around and you watch like this guy literally justify like torture of random people that they've just chosen to be high value targets. And it's like, that's so civilized. And I talk to my friends about this all the time. They're always like, oh, you know, you can't even fucking bribe cops here. Right? Like, oh, you can do that in other countries. You can't do bribery in America. I'm like, no. In Western nations, specifically in America, you just have a more formal process. You can bribe a government administrator or an official. You just have to do it through the formal channels. It's called campaign financing. You can bribe the cops. They literally even give you a card for it. Okay? If you bribe the police department, they will unironically give you a fucking get out of jail free card. Literally. You can get a nice little sticker in your car too. That's bribery. Yeah, you can get a PBA card. It's literally bribery. It's just more formalized. So we often think that like, oh, this kind of stuff never happens, dude. Corruption never happens in America. It's like, no, it does. It's just formalized. There's a formalized process to corruption. Anyway.
Look at the CIA's rendition and detention program, and there's a lot of debate about the efficacy of that. Is there the potential for that?
This dialogue isn't helpful. Saying vets are dumbasses is only going to push the ardent military supporters further from your base. Say they were manipulated, lied to, but it doesn't really help calling them dumb. I mean, they are, but saying it isn't winning them over. You're talking to a goddamn Korea veteran, son, okay? What's your disorder, Sergeant? What's your malfunction? I'm a goddamn Korea veteran, son. Recognize. Do you not see my hat? Lol, you sit here and blabber about bullshit for a living? Are you mad? Lib takes Omega Law. I'm not interested in your hot takes about Afghanistan.
What a fun weekend I'm having. Hey, if you're one of
I don't want to.
those people attacking veterans on the internet for lamenting the fall of Afghanistan, you're a bad person. I don't much care for your half-formed thoughts about... Gosh, what a fun weekend I'm having. Hey, if you're one of those people attacking veterans on the internet for lamenting the fall of Afghanistan, you're a bad person. I don't much care for your half-formed thoughts about American imperialism as you attack the very people that end-stage capitalism forced into the military. Why don't you go look up how they recruit, huh? Really don't love how you all keep ignoring all the horrific things the Taliban has done throughout history in your scramble to criticize the US or the 41 other countries that are part of the International Security Assistance Force, which was in Afghanistan. Frankly, I don't think you care at all about the people of Afghanistan. You just want to yell at people on the internet and take a huge problem and make it small so that you can attack me instead of, doing the internal work of realizing that international conflict is messy and complicated and often has good and bad parts. But what would I know? I was only a part of it. And no, I don't feel bad for going. I was a medic, and nothing you can say will change my opinion of the things that I did and experienced there. I helped the people of Afghanistan. Have you? Gosh, what a...
This is not me. No, I know. I just look, I'm not one of those people who's fuck every veteran unconditionally, they didn't have to serve, fuck them, they're a piece of shit. And there's a lot of people like that, especially on the left. Okay. But when I see this sort of stuff, I'm like, dude, stop, dude. Just say you're against it, and that's it, okay? You're literally a fucking combat medic. You already know you're smarter than the other fucking grunts. What are you doing? What is... Stop. I don't think he's against it, though. I mean, he sure seems like he might not be. Yeah, he says he was preyed upon by late-stage capitalism, so I think he, understands the vibes. What if you joined before you were pulled? More on lefties? No, that's what I'm saying. It's just still so cringe, though. He's right about the indoctrination. He's right about the different reasons for why people join, which is why I'm saying that, which is why I'm always saying, look, I'm more understanding. He also did say he doesn't regret it. This is why they say joining the military is the male equivalent of dropping out and becoming a stripper. What the fuck do you mean? Strippers are overall... Strippers are overall doing a public service, dude. What the fuck do you mean? If he dropped down, if he dropped into Afghanistan and dropped that bussy, I wouldn't be having this conversation. Okay? Can you imagine, dude? He just went down there and was just fucking throwing that ass back, dude. At the Pashtuns, yo, what's up? How do you like me now? Give me some of that fucking guy liner, baby. Let's go. I'm going to fucking throw it back. I'm going to drop a metric ton of ass on that fucking Kunduz hospital, bitch. Let's go. That would be good. That would be a good thing. I'm just saying. Airdropped bussy first? Yeah. About this tally bussy, dude. So you don't think soldiers provide society a service? I do. I think it's a bad service for the most part. Like, you know, some do all right. Like, there's like, I mean, ultimately, you are literally working for a war machine that is, main output is just bad. Please don't say the vets are dumb. You will hurt their feelings. For real, though, 20 years, $2 trillion. How did the U.S. manage to accomplish nothing? No, they did everything. The Afghan war wasn't a failure, dude. It was a fucking massive success. It's just that, like, the main goal wasn't to, like, bring democracy to Afghanistan or overall improve the social welfare or lives of Afghani people. It was just to make money and extract natural resources from Afghanistan. And on that front, like, they made hella money. They're caked up, dude. They did great. Lots of opium production. You know what I mean? Fun fact, guess what comes up on Google first when you search for vet suicide rates? What? Addiction therapy? Like opium addiction therapy? Is that what it is? Probably. I thought it was 22 a day. It just sucks, dude. Anyway, let's finish this fucking dumbass CIA guy talking about how he thinks torture is great.
That to now come back into play as we're fighting a...
No, the opium harvested from there doesn't go to the pills we use. The overwhelming majority of opiates, like the legal opiates, pharmaceutical corporations get their get their opium from Tasmania. But the illegal shit, the street level shit, you get from Afghanistan.
New threat in the Islamic State.
The harvested
and how do those two work together?
When we were capturing people, detention and interrogation was a very important issue. And the reason that we are not capturing as important people in anything like the numbers that we were before is because they're no longer present in the places where we and allied services can capture them. For the most part, they are in ungoverned space, whether it's in Iraq or Syria or Yemen or Somalia, the tribal areas in Pakistan. So it's not as though the U.S. government, made a strategic or a tactical decision. We're going to stop trying to capture these people. We're going to kill them instead. It's that we just don't have the same opportunities to capture them that we once did.
How critical was that program in 2002 and 2006?
Right. Yeah, I inherited the program as it had evolved when I took over counterterrorism in late 2004 and into 2005. 2002, 2003, it was critically important. Al-Qaeda was a very...
Yeah. Massive failure, by the way. Like, they got zero workable intelligence. Zero. Literally no intelligence whatsoever that was actually Like, it's not even a, it's like beyond incomprehensible. I can't believe he's like, oh man, some of the torture was good. Like, no, dude. Would you join the army? Fuck no, dude. Are you fucking insane? What the fuck would I do that, dude? Why would I do that shit? Have you seen what I talk about? First of all, I'm a veteran of Korea, so what if the army was building schools though? Yeah, then I probably still wouldn't do it, but you know, then it's like a different conversation. That'd be sick. To protect your nation? From what, dude? From fucking what? I can't even join the chair force because my eyesight is fucked. From wait, can you explain to me what the army's protecting the nation from? Like the fucking goat herders that we just saw?
Disciplined, centralized organization. We didn't have good intelligence sources on al-Qaeda at the time. The only real insight that we got in the early days on al-Qaeda was through capturing these individuals and interrogating them. Now, a majority, even of the worst, you know, the most valuable, if you will, who came into CIA hands, a majority of those never saw anything you know, more coercive than what you would expect to find in a U.S. police precinct. There was, however, a minority of those with whom we engaged in harsh interrogation. And of course, that has become a very politically sensitive.
The American military literally tortured one of you guys who might even be in the chat right now. Like, with similar enhanced interrogation techniques. Yeah, Chelsea Manning. That's a vet I respect. This dude is just, you know, lying out of his ass.
Issue since, but
what are your thoughts on if they should have balkanized Afghanistan? Do you think that could have been an option, seeing as Afghanistan has very little to speak when it comes to a unified culture? Kind of unlucky that you don't have a full perspective. /shrug. Unfortunately, there are a lot of things that policymakers do that I would disagree with, but as a whole, Intel does a good job at what they do. Parakeets. What the fuck are you talking about? The enhanced interrogation program was entirely fundamentally flawed, a human rights violation through and through, which is precisely why you had to fucking do it in black sites. And lastly, it failed. It was a gigantic failure. I know you watched, it literally didn't work. That's the worst part about it. Even if you go beyond the fact that you are routinely violating human rights. You were just doing those war crimes for no reason. I'm a right-wing nationalist, so complete opposite to what I believe I've heard. To you, I believe. Never heard of you, but judging by things, you're pretty far left. My friends and all agree that modern war is bullshit and all just about money and destroying poor countries for their resources. I believe just leave these nations alone and rule how they want to be ruled and let them sort themselves out if they want to change, so we agree on that front anyway. Who the fuck says they're a right-wing nationalist, dude? What the fuck is wrong with you? What a psycho. My man just said, like, I'm a Nazi, you know? I'm like a little bit, I'm like one step removed from a Nazi, or just like actual Nazi. Wait, hold on. Someone in the chat just said, right-wing nationalist equals Nazi, lol. I forget who it was. I couldn't catch him. But yeah, that's what it is. What do you mean? What the fuck? As a member of Al-Qaeda, I also agree. Biden tweet on 6K troops for departure. I've authorized 6,000 troops to deploy to Afghanistan to assist in the departure of U.S. and allied civilian personnel from Afghanistan and to evacuate our Afghan allies and vulnerable Afghans to safety outside the country. Our current military mission will be short in time and focused on its objectives. Get our people and our allies to safety as quickly as possible. And once we have completed this mission, we will conclude our military withdrawal. We will end America's longest war, Jack. He didn't say Jack. Yes, he did. Here's your chance to have access to malarkey by being a reply guy. I'm sitting down with President Biden on Wednesday for an exclusive interview. What would you ask him? I'm not gonna, yeah. L nerd ratio.
In terms of what came out.
I'm gonna say you fell off. L nerd ratio. That's what he should, and then he's forced to repeat that to Joe Biden.
Out of that program writ large, it was critical to us at the time. We didn't understand our enemy, and I think there's a lot that's probably not really understood. People sort of had this Jack Bauer conception that you interrogate somebody aggressively, and he tells you where the bomb is hidden, and you get there just before it goes off. In real life, it doesn't work like that. In real life counterterrorism, it's all about the people. And in a disciplined organization where they carefully compartment information, as Al-Qaeda did, even capturing a senior member of the organization is probably not going to tell you very much about ongoing plots. What they can tell you about is the people. And so if you get to the people before...
Yeah, that's literally why the program that you said was working fine didn't work.
They can mature and launch those plots, you can keep those plots from reaching fruition. That's really
what ends up happening in the real world, as we found out from the enhanced interrogation strategy's abysmal failure, which was investigated by the Congress, which the CIA then subsequently literally fucking spied on congressional members over, was that people just lie when they're being tortured to get you to stop torturing them. Like, they literally just fucking lie. Right-wing isn't conservative and nationalist. Just because you are right-wing and a nationalist doesn't filthy Nazi. Don't how you lefties arrive at the answer a conservative nationalist is a Nazi. Dude, what the fuck? Like, it wasn't the socialism that people remember the Nazis over. You know that, right? It was the nationalism. Like, you're openly admitting that you're a nationalist here in the United States of America in 2021, the year of our holy Lord. Literally, what a fucking Nazi would be like, oh, dude, I'm just a nationalist. I want to hear more from this fucking Nazi, though.
What we were about. We were trying to find out about their colleagues. Some of them were willing to give up that information relatively easily. Some of them, it was very, very difficult.
Do you have a personal opinion about the enhanced interrogation techniques?
Nobody in CIA was elected. CIA, just as the military, has to assure itself that the orders that it's given by the president are legal. But once they've assured themselves that it's legal, they have a professional responsibility to follow through. And part of the concern that I have with the with the political controversy that we're seeing today is that we run a serious risk of creating a generation in CIA which thinks that they should be deciding for themselves and for their own personal and bureaucratic reasons which of their lawful orders they're going to follow. Institutionalized insubordination is not where we want to go.
Why did you ultimately leave CIA?
Oh, that's a very long and complicated question, and it works on different levels. I'm glad that I left when I did. Not because I didn't like it, loved every minute of it. Within CIA at that time, as in many organizations, at many times, there were a lot of internal controversies. And
these guys are literally worse than the fucking, like, the lowest rank and file CIA guy is still like at least 100 times worse than like every fucking dumbass grunt who's from like an upper middle class family but joined the military because his pappy was in the military, okay, and his fucking grandfather was in the military, so he comes from a military family and he's a fucking dumbass, so he too joined the military because that's what you're supposed to do. And now he's out of the military and still a fucking, now a gigantic dumbass and a conservative. That guy, significantly better as a human than like any liberal CIA agent. He's just like, I loved every moment of it. Like, yeah, I was destabilizing the Pashtun tribes, engaging in warfare, trying to get them to fight one another, you know, suspiciously right before 9/11. Suspiciously leading up to and right before 9/11. Nothing weird going on there, of course. But I loved every moment of it.
I would probably not be the first one to find himself in a position where his boss had previously had his job. And
like he literally said, we tortured some folks, and I loved every moment of it.
And when you set out to do the job differently from your predecessor, when your predecessor is now your boss, your days are probably going to be numbered.
Why write this book now?
If I'd written this book back immediately after I got out of CIA, it would have been a different book. It would have essentially been an adventure story. And I think a fairly compelling adventure story because there were a lot of extraordinary things that happened during those 88 days. But what I didn't know at that time was that we were going to be fighting essentially another war in Afghanistan. I didn't know the rest of the story. I didn't know how this thing was going to turn out, at least in terms of the active U.S. military involvement in Afghanistan. So the core of the story is still the same, but the context in which I present it is really quite different.
President Ghani has requested some flexibility on our drawdown timelines, and I've decided that we will maintain our current posture of 9,800 troops through the end of this year.
Last month, the Obama administration announced that it would slow the pace of withdrawal of the last remaining U.S. troops from Afghanistan at the request of the country's president, Ashraf Ghani, setting the stage for another bloody year of battle against insurgents.
Is there a fucking actual TOS here? What the fuck?
Despite the promises, America's longest war appears to be getting longer. Grenier, who now works for a financial firm focused on the security and intelligence sector, says for all of the billions of dollars spent in Afghanistan and lives lost, there's little to show.
Yesterday
Oh, let's go, dude. Let's go, Tucky boy. Let's see what he has to say. What kind of fear-mongering will he do?
The Biden administration told us that American citizens would not be given priority in the evacuation from Kabul. So our government's official position is that American lives are not more valuable than the lives of foreigners. But you already knew that because you've seen our southern border. The people who made the Afghan occupation possible would like to see a lot more of our southern border, much more unrestrained immigration to the U.S. Bring in the refugees, they're screaming tonight. That's the only lesson they're taking from this debacle. Quote, America must not stand idly by, Mitt Romney tweeted today. The president must urgently rush to defend, rescue, and give and expand asylum. There is no time to spare.
I thought all lives mattered. Why is he saying this, dude? Wait, hold on. Are you telling me that all lives don't matter? What? No. Stop it. Not this guy who once famously said, Iraq and Afghanistan are primitive countries run by apes that deserve to be glassed? What? Not that guy who has the most successful news program. That guy?
There's lots of time to spare as Americans die of fentanyl ODs and millions of foreign nationals whose identities we can't confirm move here. But when it comes to bringing Afghans to our country, there's no time to spare. And Liz Cheney firmly agrees with that. So does her friend Bill Kristol and Nancy.
I love that his entire segment is like the left. He's talking about the left. Wait, is this the one?
Pelosi and Victoria Nuland at the State Department and so many more, just like...
Literally, like one person is like actually a liberal there to begin with. Like everyone he showed is like right-wingers,
like
dude.
them. These are the architects of the disaster we are watching unfold on television. They should be groveling for our forgiveness, but they're not. Why? Because contrition requires decency. There's no chance. So we're getting it. And if history is any guide, and it's always a guide, we will see many refugees from Afghanistan resettle in our country in coming months, probably in your neighborhood. And over the next decade, that number may swell to the millions.
Isn't it funny he's using blanket statements about the left, kind of like how you attribute all right-wing people as Nazis? I mean, if you don't think Tucker Carlson's a Nazi, I don't know what to tell you. Like, Nazis literally know he's a Nazi and love him for it. It doesn't matter, dude. It literally doesn't matter. I will never be at the same level of prominence or influence as Tucker Carlson. Like, it's just never going to happen. The material conditions don't align with that. My worldview does not align with the interests of the liberal and conservative elites in maintaining the capitalist hegemonic thought. It literally doesn't matter. He will continue to red pill, I guess, a bunch of fucking younger and younger conservatives into his own version of WASP nationalism. I don't think you have said the word Nazi in like weeks. Yeah, I am not like a big, like, that guy's a Nazi, this guy's a Nazi kind of dude. When someone says they're a right-wing nationalist, though, I'm like, oh, that's kind of weird. Anyway, it doesn't matter.
So first we invade and then we're invaded. It is always the same. We'll be spending a lot more time on that subject in coming weeks because it matters. But first, since Kabul has just fallen, it might be worth asking the most obvious question of all. Why did the Taliban win?
I don't understand how wanting a stricter border and only have good, hard-working people let into the country and no known terrorists, etc., means you're a Nazi. What? Okay, I'm not even gonna look at that. Wait, is this the full one?
Must urgently rush to identities we can't confirm move here. The same. We'll be spending a lot more time on that subject in coming weeks because it matters. But first, since Kabul has just fallen, it might be worth asking the most obvious question of all. Why did the Taliban win? How did the 6th century triumph over the 21st century? There are indications that the single most notorious and reviled government in the world, primitive people famous for their brutality, rigidity, and humorlessness, are more popular in parts of Afghanistan than they were when we expelled the mullahs from Kandahar 20 years ago. They don't seem to be less popular. So how did that happen? What's the answer? We ought to pause to think about that. Let's not just blow past it like it was an act of God. It's not.
I wonder what happened. I mean, he's talking about the Taliban. It's almost like there was like a foreign force that came in and occupied their country. Yes, Nazi is short for National Socialist, but with zero actual socialism. So right-wing nationalist is quite literally just a new name for Nazi. Anyone telling you is not making you believe it's a legitimate title is absolutely a Nazi trying to lead you through the right-wing pipeline. Yeah, dude. I'm really fucking... me and a lot of the people in here are going to be like super fucking red-pilled by that guy. Dude, we just don't want known terrorists to come into our borders. Like, why are you calling me a Nazi? Is that conservatism? Is liberalism when you're like, I want terrorists to come into the country? Who do you mean? What do you mean by terrorist? It's not saying like known terrorists shouldn't be able to come into the country that makes you a conservative. It's when you say everyone is automatically a known terrorist because of inalienable qualities. Idiot. Also, the Nazis were socialist argument is hilarious. Yeah, dude. Real socialism is when you fucking work with business owners and destroy fucking destroy unions and literally execute the socialists in your own fucking party. That's what socialism is, when you lock socialists in fucking concentration camps before you even get to the Jews. You know the fucking poem? First they came for the socialists. I did not speak out because I was not a socialist. You know? That poem. You know how it starts? You know the reason why it starts with socialists? Because that's who they first came for? Dumbass. Then they came for the 60-second ad break. The worst segue I've ever done. Top of the fucking hour. It's time for a 60-second ad break. If you no longer want to see the ads, if you want an ad-free broadcasting experience, okay, uninterrupted shit, all you need to do is subscribe. You can subscribe for $5, or you can subscribe for free. For the Twitch Prime, that is. Okay? Or you can use an ad block or a VPN, but Twitch Prime is free. Here's the 1 minute ad break now.
What is the answer? Well, countries are very complicated, all of them, so there are likely many answers. But one of those answers may be that the population of Afghanistan has firmly rejected what our leaders were selling it over 20 years. It turns out that the people of Afghanistan don't actually want gender studies symposia. They didn't actually buy the idea that men can become pregnant. They thought that was ridiculous. They don't hate their own masculinity. They don't think it's toxic. They like the patriarchy. Some of their women...
What?
Selling it over 20 years. It turns out that the people of Afghanistan don't actually want gender studies symposia. They didn't actually buy the idea that men can become pregnant. They thought that was ridiculous. They don't hate...
Bro, this is... I'm sorry. This is the rebranded, like, Pat Robertson shit. Saying that Osama bin Laden wanted to kill America because homosexuals exist. Like, he's literally saying that, like, the people of Taliban were popular because they weren't, like, they weren't doing gender studies. It doesn't he... Isn't he just saying that he agrees with the Taliban? Like, he's saying, I agree with the Taliban, and they're good? Like, what the fuck? What a weird take.
Their own masculinity. They don't think it's toxic. They like the patriarchy. Some of their women like it too. So now they're getting it all back. So maybe it's possible that we failed in Afghanistan because the entire neoliberal program is grotesque. It's a joke.
Oh my God, this video is awesome. This is the funniest thing I've ever seen. I didn't realize that Tucker Carlson's entire argument reduced to, so it turns out the Taliban were onto something. And that something is called conservatism. Something that the American government should probably start taking notice of. Some of these women don't need to show their faces. After all, it's not like you would want to see the face or hear a woman in many instances. A lot of liberals want you to cover up with a mask anyway. We might as well just go full burqa. Women should be seen and not heard. I'm Tucker Carlson, and I agree with the Taliban. Seriously, wow, what an interesting. I thought it was only the weird lefties on the timeline that were like, Taliban is based anti-imperialist. Turns out Tucker Carlson literally believes in the ideas that the Taliban was advocating for. By the way, that's why they were successful. The Taliban was successful because of their anti-CRT stance.
Gender studies symposia. They didn't actually buy the idea that men can become pregnant. They thought that was ridiculous. They don't hate their own masculinity. They don't think it's toxic. They like the patriarchy. Some of their women like it too. So now they're getting it all.
Yeah, I saw this already. Nick Fuentes literally said the Taliban's going to ban abortion vaccines and gay marriage. Maybe we were fighting on the wrong side for 20 years. Like, yeah, this guy's a literal Nazi, and Tucker Carlson is a literal Nazi as well, and they like the Taliban. When I say it, you look at me like, oh, dude, you're exaggerating. But like, they're saying it themselves. They're like, yeah, it's fucking cool. The Taliban doesn't do CRT. They don't wear masks at the gym. That's right. So who's really free here when you think about it? Who's really fighting for their own liberty and their own freedoms? That's why tonight, I'm going to recite the Shahada. Ashhadu an la ilaha illallah. I'm Tucker Carlson, and this is the Shahada.
Back. So maybe it's possible that we failed in Afghanistan because the entire neoliberal program is grotesque. It's a joke. It's contrary to human nature. It answers none of our deepest human desires. It is merely a performance staged for the performer. It's not even supposed to improve your life.
Did you just squeeze out a shart there? What happened?
Of our deepest human desires. It is merely a performance staged for the performer. It's not even.
Oh my God. What? Did he just shart? What a sharty boy. Oh my God, he's a doo-doo butt. Screw Flanders, 84, thank you for the 5 gifted.
It is merely a performance staged for the performer. It's not even.
Bro, he literally thought that was just a fart. Look at his face, dude. He's like, I just sharted my pants. And guess what? The Taliban sharts their pants too. Liberals keep telling you, you have to actually wipe your ass once you're done pooping in your pants. They look at you when you walk down the street saying, you smell bad. Because they hate the diversity of ideas that comes from wanting to do pants shitting. The Taliban, on the other hand, will shit their pants all the time. Not a problem there, because they're truly beacons of progress and liberty. A concept that we forgot here in the United States of America, a concept that our founding fathers, much like the Taliban, would have been on board with.
It's supposed to improve your life. It's ridiculous. And ideas that ridiculous can only be imposed by force, only with armed men at gunpoint. The moment these ideas are not mandatory, the second...
Oh my God, he tied the entire thing to CRT, dude. Like, he thinks that the American military occupation in, like, the green zone was all about, like, you know, some fucking bumfuck from Iowa literally fucking flying out there, getting a jarhead cut and being like, today I'm going to teach you about how, you know, how black people were enslaved in the United States of America. Fatma, why are you not paying attention to what I have to say about systemic injustices in the United States of America? Like, that's what the military was doing, dude. They just fucking, we were just like, we were dropping in paratroopers that, you know, were just woke. This is great, dude.
The troops withdraw, in fact, people tend to revert to the lives that they prefer to live. That may be the real
Bro,
lesson.
he's literally saying the Taliban embraced tradition. I love this, dude. Like, the Taliban, why is he pro-Taliban, dude? I'm so confused, dude. He's literally pro-Taliban. Oh, what the fuck? It's so weird. This, like, the last minute of this rant is basically, I'm waiting for him to turn around and be like, and that's wrong. Like, he's not even saying, is he gonna just, like, leave that hanging there? Because, like, normally what guys like this will do is still turn around and be like, they're primitive, they're animals, you know what I mean? They're dirty, they're vermin. Stuff like that, because they're brown and doing religious fundamentalism. When you're white and you do it, Tucker Carlson has no problem. But when you're brown and you do it, then you're an animal, and that's why you don't deserve to be in this country. So I'm surprised that he's not doing that. I'm surprised that maybe he sharded and forgot to do the second part of it.
Of Afghanistan. Let's hope our leaders notice. Hey, Sean Hannity here. Hey.
Wow. Media coverage of Afghanistan really fucked up people's perception of the world. Okay, then do you agree communists should be stomped on like Nazis, as communists are just as bad, if not worse, than Nazis? First of all, communists are literally, definitionally, not worse than Nazis, if for no other reason than the fact that they fucking murdered Nazis. Okay? Like, literally. Are you unaware of where you are? Do you know who you are around? Do you know what this community is comprised of? This motherfucker's talking about, like, do you agree that, like, communists are just as bad as Nazis, if not worse than Nazis, dude? This is, maybe he saw, like, so many people in here and he thought to himself, like, oh, you know, this is probably like some fucking regular lib shit, and I can just, like, engage in some weird centrist rhetoric here. They didn't even want to kill Nazis in the beginning. Neither did the fucking UK, dumbass. Appeasement. Appeasement, bruv. So shut the fuck up. Oh, Molotov-Ribbentrop, or whatever the fuck, however you say his name. Shut the fuck up, bitch. We had 30,000 psychopathic Americans literally march to the Madison Square Garden and have one of the largest Nazi rallies ever in this country. We unironically wanted to do fascism here. We thought, also Hitler literally looked to American Jim Crow South and also eugenics. Very famous at the time in America, and said, those guys, well, they have some good ideas, yeah. We should do the same here in Germany, you know? So what the fuck do you mean? Like, oh, the communists didn't want to fucking... It doesn't matter. They literally ended up murdering Nazis. Which, of course, you would know if you look to, you know, anti-communist propaganda like The Black Book that unironically features Nazi victims of communism. My BA is in economics, and one of the biggest blights on the field is how we boosted eugenics so much in the 20s. Yeah. Communist Party back in the USSR times, the current CCP has killed more innocent people than the Nazis. Wait, what? What? I'm so confused. What is he saying? Is he saying that, like, The Nazis didn't kill that much? Is that what he's saying? Are we just looking at, like, you know, the kill count? Is that what... Bro, this guy's, like, trying to defend Nazis here. What the fuck? If you're gonna add the death toll under communism to, like, people fucking starving under capitalism, then 14 million people die a year under global capitalism. A global capitalist hegemony that is backed and also defended by Western imperialist nation states. So I guess, you know, capitalism is killing 14 million a year on famine-related and famine-related diseases alone. That's before we get to imperialism, which is a necessity under capitalism. So I guess that's because people had their bootstraps in, though, and not strapped tight enough. Capitalism has uplifted billions out of poverty. Yeah, that's my favorite take, because it's like people will simultaneously say capitalism has uplifted billions out of poverty, but then also say the Chinese communist government is bad because they're communist. Okay, remove China from the fucking number. How many people have been lifted out of poverty without China? You motherfuckers love talking about how China's communist and then turn around and you're like, billions were lifted out of poverty. No, motherfucker, it's just China. That's it. Didn't the victims of communism add Nazis to their count? Yes, of course they did. Karl Marx playing Monopoly. That's why I didn't ban him. He's really funny. Like, he's got some really dumbass takes, dude. It's hilarious. Also, that's literally not true. The shit source is relying on is called the Black Book of Communism, which is widely considered to be pure propaganda and not based on reality. I know, we already talked about it. Would you kiss Pol Pot? No. Anyway, do you sell your burps in a jar? No. But Karl Marx was racist, so the hundreds of years of theory and philosophy are irrelevant. Karl Marx is not even a fraction, like, not even a fraction as racist as, first of all, people say Karl Marx is racist. I don't know where the fuck people get that idea from. He literally talked about abolition. Like, he was a fan of abolition of slavery. Also a fan of Abraham Lincoln, who he wrote to. But not only that, but also, if we were to, like, cast aside people's philosophies as a consequence of their racist opinions, then literally destroy Kantian philosophy. Okay? Just no more, none of that, dude. Kant literally thought everyone was white in the pussy, but then black mothers and their black vagina walls turned the white baby into an impure black baby as the baby was coming out. Which I don't really have a problem with, like, destroying the categorical imperative and all of that. I think it's bullshit. I'm just saying that to trigger the philosophy nerds, please. Kant could have been the wokest dude ever. We should still disregard Kantian philosophy. Karl Marx was at most Eurocentric, not really racist, though. Is it true that being born cause some people to be cause some people to be black? Yes. So reject human rights. Kant is a hero, and did you know You just lost the game? What? Yes, someone asked me if I store my burps in a jar, and I rolled out of that like it was not a big deal, because that's how used to fucking degenerate takes in the chat I am. Okay? That's right. Someone literally was like, do you sell your burps in a jar? And I just said no, and I moved on. Because I'm brain broken. Okay, Azan, don't be that way. Don't click my link and see my awesome joke. Yeah, I'm not going to do that. I know Bobert is pro-Taliban. I know. These are conservatives are just wilding out on the timeline. I want to watch a ransomware video from John Oliver, but I don't know if I should actually. I feel like I've done so much today, and I'm tired. I don't know if I should like end it here. I should save this for tomorrow. Speaking of Nazis, top of the hour. 20 minutes ago? No, I already ran the ad break. All right, let's look at some fucking LSF actually. Let's move on from let's do a little bit of fun stuff. Chicken ends Maya stream.
All right. Chat. Good morning. Look at this. We're in the studio. Wow. And we have the chickens who won't get off the freaking keyboard. Are you serious?
Okay, this is cute as fuck, dude.
Ah! Good.
What's your opinion on Tom McDonald's newest music video? I would rather die than...
What do you tell the people that say 0.02 death rate and not approved FDA lol? What do you think about that? Those
They
two
should get
things?
shot, thrown in a ditch in a video game.
Listen, you need to use words that aren't as hardcore when you're speaking to my people.
I meant shot. I said shot like at the vaccine. Wait, what did you think I meant? Like it's shots.
I thought you meant like they get shot like with a gun.
No, what? Why would I ever say that? That would be horrible.
What do you tell the people?
Yeah, he wants them to be vaccinated and then thrown into a ditch because vaccines kill people, brother. Lyric has a sick idea.
I really think one of these companies should just make a game. I really think...
That'd be tight. That'd be pretty fucking tight, dude. Imagine if they made a game, just one. Destiny's base take on anti-vaxxers.
They don't actually...
Bro, whenever Destiny snorts, it's like... Devil works hard, but there's homies that work harder.
Care. They're not thinking about it, right? Like anytime somebody says like you can still get sick, like you know that you can do that with anything, right? Like why would you ever take a shower? Like you could still get sick, or you could still smell bad, or why would you ever wear shoes? You could still step on a nail, or why would it's just so fucking stupid, right? Like nothing in life is 100%. You know, you take risks. Right? Why would you ever get pregnant? You know, you could have a baby that's as dumb as a Twitch chatter. Why the fuck would you ever do it like anything? Like it's so dumb. Why ever take birth control? Like you could still be a 0.1. Like people are like 0.2%. Blah, blah. Like you can still get pregnant if you wear a condom. Like you can still get pregnant if you're on birth control. Like you can still get yeah. It's just dumb. It's fuck. I don't care about all the other stuff like the Afghanistan or like socialism or any of that. The vaccine stuff really bothers me because I have anti-vaxxers in my own fucking family now, and we've had like 2 family members die from the fucking corona.
Actually good take. Motherfucker, I've literally said that always. Like that everything in life is a dice roll.
Virus. And like my mom is sending me Facebook memes about how if you get injected with any of these vaccines, you're going to turn...
It's a good take. It's the smart take. Not all of his fucking takes are idiotic.
Into like metal and like stuff that sticks to you. It's like absolutely fucking insane. How that they don't actually care.
How could Maya say this?
the oviduct. If sperm is present, the egg will be fertilized. Remember, a hen doesn't need a rooster to lay eggs.
She doesn't need you, Oliver.
Free ranging on leafy greens and feeding a feed with marigold meal will give yolks a beautiful dark orange color. Feeds for the oviduct. If sperm is
What the fuck? Why don't you give Russell cookies on her farewell from Austin?
My chat was okay, just 1 second. I got this.
Mogul Moves? Wait. Oh my god. Shut the fuck up. Are you serious? This motherfucker is the Taliban, dude. This is an act of terror. This is literally terrorism, what he's doing here. Top 10 anime betrayals? He's literally wearing the jacket, my hat. He's wearing my hat in the thumbnail. And wearing the jacket that I, told him to get. He Stalined you with the title of the game show? Cody Cohen, Noel Miller roast my game show? Oh my god! Hashtag Ludwig, hashtag Cody Co, hashtag Mogul Money. Pokimane takes me shopping? Are you fucking kidding me? Oh my god! What? This is literally my footage from my stream. Oh my god. Oh my. Why do I go on his show? I'm just garnished, dude. It's like I don't exist if you were to... What the fuck? Pokimane takes me shopping. Am I even in this? Or did he just cut me out of every piece of footage?
You like it? What do you think about this? It's very good.
Who's the guy giving him the clothes? We'll never know. We just simply do not know. I'm gonna fucking copy strike him and make all the money off of this video. You said he could? Of course. I don't have a problem with that, dude. Are you crazy? I'm just fucking around. That's some fucking mogul moves right there, dude.
Four people.
I just want to let you know.
How you gonna do me like this, dude? What the fuck? Let's see. Am I in any of his? Am I in any of his fucking? Am I in the thumbnails? I'm not even on the thumbnail. Oh my god. Oh my god. Oh my fucking god. Should I search for my name on his channel? Probably it's not gonna come up. Hasan. Who's the best couple on Twitch? Of course I'm not on there in the title either. Hive Mind season finale. Streamers I can beat in a fight. I was in that season finale. Wait, I was in that season finale? Oh my god. He's explaining on a stream. Prezzo, I don't want to hear from you. You are responsible for this too. You edited some of these videos. Okay? Exactly. Don't fucking lamau me. Okay? Benedict Arnold. How else did you expect him to frame you in the picture? Stop making excuses for him. We literally won in the couples video. Who's the best couple on Twitch? Will and I won that video. Like, we won that fucking competition. We literally won. What is he saying? Damage control Andy? Oh my god. Oh, it's just mogul moves, baby. You left Ludwig out of the meme template with you and Austin in that last post because I had him twice in the photos and it didn't fit. He was in 2 of the photos on my Instagram. This motherfucker literally de-stalinized me, dude. Tell him to explain Pokimane takes me shopping video. Yeah. Yeah, I don't care about me being fucking left out of this thumbnail. He should explain why I was left out of the Pokimane takes me shopping video.
My chat was Okay, just 1 second. I got this. Just 1 second.
Is Ludwig threatened by Hasan's physique and look? Yes.
No, just 1 second. It's
For your clip channels. Yeah, that's what I should have posted on Instagram, dude. I'm literally wearing his t-shirt that he gave me. Okay? That he got for me for content. I thought we were friends, dude. Messed up.
if you have one, please.
Oh my god.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Miz would never. Miz 100% would do that. Miskiff 1000% would do that. Are you kidding me? Miskiff probably has done that. What is this? The real reason?
Okay, all right. Do you want to know the fucking reason? You want to know why it was called Pokemon?
It's because Pokemon and the title is good for SEO.
Takes me shopping. Look, feast your eyes. All right, that's the reason. Look at this. This is where my videos normally are. The gray. This is where it was. There it is. Sue me. Sue.
Okay, well, litigation is coming your way, sir.
Me.
Yeah, Ludwig, more like Rudwig, dude.
That's the reason, okay?
Yeah, DMCA incoming. I'm taking all of your dollars, all 1,000 of those dollars, dude. Take him to friendship court, spitting straight facts about the COVID vaccine.
Yeah, going. Melina did the same thing. Like in Sweden, it takes like, I don't know what they're doing now, but before in Sweden, you'd like sign up for one shot in a month, and then you'd have to wait. Like,
yeah, Ludwig, more like Rudwig, and about to be Sudwig.
Like 2 months to get the second one. But Melina came in with me. We're in a fucking grocery store in America. This is what it's like in America. You're in the grocery store and they're on the intercom and they're like, please come get vaccinated. We'll give you $10 off your groceries. Please come to the bag. Like it's that free. Like they're trying so hard. And fucking 55% of these fat, stupid, diabetic ridden fucks won't just go to a goddamn grocery store and get a fucking vaccine. For the first time in your life, you have access to free fucking medical shit in the United States, and these fucking losers won't do it. It is one of the most embarrassing and shameful moments of our history. Holy shit.
Well, I mean, you know, socialized medicine is actually deeply unpopular if you ask him, so I don't know why he's using that as a talking point, but other than that, he's right.
It's so sad.
Now that you put it like that, that's actually...
Yeah, Melina...
Hot Chubby leaving Austin.
Good times.
Yeah, that was really fun.
Glad you enjoyed it.
And the cooking stream was also fun.
Oh yeah, the noodles? Yeah? You're gonna make me cry, Chubby. Just go. Just get lost before I start crying.
Sam realizes he's not the main character. In what respect?
Sorry. By the way, see you again.
Yeah.
See you
again when I Chubby, when I see you again. Bye. Thank you. Oh, God. Good times.
XQ Cow chat hops Curvy Elephants chat after losing court case. This is still going on. XQ Cow is still playing GTRP.
That's not gonna get addressed, man. XQC, I'm gonna tell you the same as I told everyone else. If you have nothing nice to say, you don't say it at all, and if you do, you get banned. I don't know what to tell you, man. Yeah, that's not gonna get addressed, man. XQC, I'm gonna tell you the same as I told everyone else. If you have nothing.
It wasn't really chat hopping. It was offline and he was being a shitlord. Maya's trained warbird flies at Mach 10 at his prey. Uh-oh.
Pause, champ. Nugget, stay over here.
Uh-oh.
Wow.
Why are you wearing on the Mogul Money thumbnail?
Why is Hasan not in this thumbnail? The answer is obvious. I have a lot of Republican fans, and I'm pandering to them. A lot of 9/11 supporters. And I couldn't, just economically, it just didn't make sense. Ted
supporters of 9/11?
Cruz's daughters surely would have been banned from my channel if I had Hasan on the thumbnail. So I had to think about Ted's daughters here. I can do this. Why is...
Dude. He is on YouTube. YouTube is very conservative, dude.
Pause, champ. Nugget, stay over here.
Misgift Sisters out here liking Diamond and Silk tweets. No wonder she said you have a punchable face. Oh my god, dude.
Wow. Pause.
Would you wear this?
Line up. But I have
hey,
a lot of
Ludwig is baiting you for LSF? Yeah, I already know.
shirts.
Let's see.
Do you guys think Hasan would wear this shirt? Like a 50-50.
I mean, I would wear it. Look at him! He's literally wearing the ring I gave him. Oh my god. Oh my god, dude. Wearing the ring I gave him. Traitor, dude. Fucking traitor, dude. Messed up.
Didn't line up.
Cut me out of the thumbnail. Twitch removes Nim's emote. Imagery of sexualized content? What? Because it's booba? Destiny's take on Futa? Oh, I didn't... Dude. It's like when XQC and Destiny merge, it's like the two most active Reddit communities. Literally, Destiny sneezed on the XQC stream. Destiny was an anti-vax family. XQC destroys Destiny. On stream, 5 minutes to 10 clips on LSF. How did this happen, I wonder? American cop humiliates Filipino on live.
All right, 3, 2, 1. So wait, I have to get past you? Well, we have challengers has arrived. Which one I want to challenge him? He's a professional soccer player. Here we go. Uh-oh. Oh! Oh no! Oh! Dude! There you go! Dude, between the legs! With all his equipment, with a gun. All right, 3, 2, 1. So wait, I have to get.
Motherfucker was afraid of getting shot, so he let it go. Yeah, I wouldn't fuck around with that, dude. Why would that cop look so aggro? Ginny meets couple Aiden Ross viewers of the Wisconsin State Fair. Oh, shit.
Got on there? 6,000? Yeah. What's up, guys? Yeah, you watch Twitch? Yeah, I watch Twitch. What do you watch? I watch like Speed? Yeah, I show Speed. I show like Aiden Ross. Oh. Yeah.
Sheesh. Sheesh. Yo, Aiden Ross got shooters, dude. International. Sheesh.
Yeah, I know Jaden Ross. Oh. This? No. Oh my god, you're verified too? Oh my
Okay, these kids are cute though.
Alright, see you later. Bye, chat. See ya.
They're like nice kids. Earth needs a no PvP zone. Oh, this is from the XQ
Okay.
Cal.
Wouldn't it be good if there was a place like a neutral zone? You know, like when you play MMO, you have a city where people can't fight, right? You can't PvP. Sorry for the bad terms, right? Where in times like this, you could move a bunch of people in where there's like housing and food, and all the countries would all be funding a fund to help, and then it would help everybody at once in times like this. Couldn't they win? And it'd be like a safe, neutral zone. Why don't we have that?
I don't know.
Okay.
XQC's the referee now. We're gonna have neutral zones, did. I don't even know how you respond to that. He nonchalanted you? JCS Jacob, easy clap.
Can you help me out in terms of the name of the file, perhaps?
So, Your Honor, I just reviewed the evidence. There's no evidence of a gun on my docket.
Sir, it's in his possessions. You can quite clearly see the photo of his possessions and the gun in question in the evidence in his possessions.
They planted it.
So Your Honor, I don't see it. I literally, I do not see it. I'm not kidding.
So I do have it myself. Officer Faley, can you check if that was provided to Mr. Paul?
Please?
No, Your Honor, it was not. Only the casing.
Oh,
was,
wow.
provided.
How convenient. Once again, I was not provided with accurate information about the evidence. Now, how can I build my case and build my defense if they omitted to release the evidence to me? Your Honor? Any rebuttal?
Nope.
Got it.
Give me 5 minutes. I'll be back, gentlemen.
JCS. Lily invited a bunch of artists for a Gartic phone sweatathon.
Wow, I feel so like outclassed.
Oh my god.
Lily Pichu and Lily Pichu Genshin character looking at stars.
Oh my
Oh, this is so
god.
cute. The Yoimiya one was so cute. Wow.
Okay, got it.
Wow. I love all of these. Oh, so good, so good. So
It's just
good,
a
so
flex, dude.
Katamina commits
good. Oh no.
Oh, okay. I got this one.
Whoa.
yes.
So good. That's so good.
Perfect.
Katamina setting the world on fire.
Katamina.
Stamina.
Oh, so cute.
Texture. Texture.
I love your
cross-hatching.
cross-hatching.
Oh, that's like an
So
illustration.
good. That looks like
Myung
children's
setting
something.
the world on fire.
Yeah. Wow.
That's amazing.
How quickly were they drawing this?
Wow.
Wow.
Wow, I feel so.
It had no timing. 10 minutes? I mean, that's a lot. -5 head take.
Lost my taste for it. I just don't really care to eat it anymore. But I will eat meat like at a gathering or something. If someone serves me dinner, like I'll eat meat in it. I don't buy meat from the grocery store anymore. If I buy animal products, it is eggs with that certified humane label on it. I drink oat milk nowadays. I don't consume very much dairy, and yeah.
I love oat milk though.
So
Oat
I'm not
milk is
vegan,
good.
but the animal products that I do consume, I'm very careful about my food labels, and traceability is very important to me. I like to know where that animal came from. This is a controversial opinion, and I know especially for somebody that cares so much about animals and the environment, But I don't think that the problem is with meat consumption. I think that the product is with our ag industry and its emissions. And I think that you can consume meat and animal products responsibly and ethically. You just have to know what you're consuming and you have to do research. Lost my...
Damn, dude, vegans are gonna maul at this. Hasan learns lower cropped amount of everything. This just happened, so... It was a professional decision. Hasan threatens the alpha position here. Mogul Moves literally stalling his ass. Hasan's hatred for capitalism will only intensify after this. Load on the Sigma Mogul Move mindset. The all mustard guys reach out to XUC. What?
Hey, yo, Felix. Hey, I don't know about no mustard, but like it might be good though. My daddy know about it.
Come on, mustard. Man, get that mustard on there. You need to put a little seasoning on there, man. You don't need to be putting all that on there. Come on now, man. I don't want to see that no more, man. Get that off there.
Man, what that is, man? God! Oh, my God!
What the fuck? That's sick. Was that a cameo or did he do that specifically for him? Tim forgets he's not playing Apex Legends.
I'm not fall off. I played skinny. Oh, you're down. L. I need AR.
Stun them. They're currently rezzing and I'm listening to something.
I don't think we should res Tim. Yes, I really don't. I don't think we should.
Because you were jumping off the top and you died?
Guys, come on, seriously, stop messing around, dude.
Not
fall off.
Why did he do that? XC calls out Misgive Live.
Yeah, they both have humans.
X is calling you out, drama.
Wait, drama?
Days unsafe because of it. When these motherfuckers out there looking at other people's streams all fucking day.
Oh, here we go.
The next day, and getting the
agreeing with him
jumps
'cause he's bigger
perfect at the right angles
Oh.
and timing.
That is not true. I learned it my fucking self on stream. You want to watch?
Yeah, they both have humans.
On Monday, baby. Sandy B's Jump King before every other streamer.
2. E. 2. Oh my god. He's doing it.
Wait, hold on. I just pooped in my pocket. What the fuck?
Okay, I've seen this clip before.
Oh my god! Oh my god! 60 hours later! Yes!
No way.
Yes!
Let's go.
Holy
Say
shit!
it.
Oh my god, yes! I'm shaking!
Follow Young Death on Twitter.
Are those just titties, dude? What the fuck? My man's just got some titties, some big old titties in his fucking chat. Zoil recalls his former love interest from the Cringe compilation.
Is that who I think it is?
Now I don't know if I'm hungry or horny.
No shot.
Hey.
Would you like to join my dad's
No shot!
Mineforgecraft? I've got business cards here if you would like to join.
Join his Minecraft what?
Minecraft, mineforgecraft.com.
Mineforgecraft.
He's had it up for a few years, I think now, and he's got really good staff. And I was wondering if you would like.
There's no way that's the same person, right? Yeah, I actually think it might be. Same shirt. It's not. So Asmongold, come on. Is that who I think?
Aw, everyone should join our Minecraft server, dude. Northern Line React Court Bayzid prediction. Ugh. Hasan explains why he's moving to Kabul. You know what I also just noticed? They don't have to wear a mask at their gym. How come I have to wear a mask at mine? That's right. I'm moving to Kabul, baby. That's real freedom, brother. None of them are wearing masks at the goddamn gym. If the Taliban can make time for the gym, what's your excuse? An RPG in the gym gets me every time. Tucker Carlson unironically did this. I mean, yeah, me and Tucker Carlson, dude. Same kind of fucking Sigma male mindset. All right, I'm done. Boys, this has been good, but I'm tired. Okay, I love you all, but we're doing nonstop fucking news, and it's like, you know, it's making me tired. I'm gonna hit that last 3-minute ad break here, okay? And go hang out with my family. Tomorrow we have Brace Belden and Liz Franzek on the podcast. That's right, Beer and Malding. Wait, today's Monday, right? Is today Monday? Never mind, not tomorrow, on Wednesday. Jesus Christ, dude.
Stun lock to the topic that's just begun. There he is.
I hope you guys enjoyed that.
The sun is streaming.
The only 30-year-old that actually gets tired, man, I am tired. Okay, I do get tired. I'll admit it. Okay. Freaking dying over here. Hopefully this was enlightening. Hopefully this was illuminating. Hopefully you guys learned a thing or two today. Once again, I will see you tomorrow for more news coverage as always. More fun. This week I might do a fun surprise stream with the girl that was talking about eating my ass. Yeah, the girl that wants to watch Cars 1 through 3 and eat my ass and stuff. Caitlin, sup Caitlin. Setting that up right now.
90-day fiance.
Don't stream that, you'll get banned. Of her eating my ass? No, I will not be streaming that.
A Trump rally live reaction.
Okay. On that note, love you all, and I will see you tomorrow. Bye.
There he is again. Her sun is streaming. Her sun is streaming. There he is again. Her sun is streaming. Her sun is streaming. Reading live stream fail comments. Austin show chat advice. In all the ways the right wing pipeline can suck you in online. JCS react.